You're not smart. Artie said something so funny. Artie, that was Fred. That was Fred, Elegant. Cariniae pneumonia victim.
Why?
Cariniae pneumonia victim.
Next time you come in here, I want to see you in Victoria's Secret.
You got it. On Howard.
You got it.
Next time you come in here,
I have to end this.
Howard,
Elliot,
I'm going to be on Frank Perino's show. I want you to hear me. At 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. this coming Monday night. I have the whole hour program. July 30th, WGBB Radio, 12:40 a.m. Intersite Radio with Frank Perino and friends. Elegant Elliot Oppen is being given 1 hour of airtime, and I will be talking about the goodness and niceness and sweetness and kindness and generosity of the genius Howard Stern on the radio on WGBB.
Elliot, thank you so much.
And thank you a million times
for your words.
No one there to interrupt him.
All right, we will be back right after this.
We'll be right back with more Howard after this. Boston's alternative rock 4.1 WBC.
Standing on the street, we didn't schedule this. She just wants to know if she's good looking enough for Playboy. I'm happy to help her out. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at you in your clothes now. This is before I even take a look at you naked. Hi, Latrice.
Good morning.
How are you, baby?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I live in the Bronx. I'm from Long Beach.
Yeah, Bronx, top of the food chain. Keep it real.
What's up?
What's up?
What is up?
From what I could see with your clothes on, you got a nice body.
Yeah, but...
You got...
No, because I know what the butt is. I know what the butt is. It's a helmet.
I don't know if she got the face for Playboy. Now, maybe if you did something with that hair, you got it all pulled back. Maybe you got dolled up a little bit, like went over to Macy's where Elliot often goes.
Yeah. That's right.
Get a makeup.
I think the body might be nice.
You look like you get a smoking body. I can't get a handle on the breasts, whether they're going to be like saggy or implants or whatever.
I know she could be in black tail.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, definitely. Well, her butt looks real nice.
Yes.
Let me see. Turn around in your clothes. Let me examine your butt. Oh, yeah, that's
a nice.
Well, I see a little flab on it though. And the clothes. Let me see. You know, do you want to get naked for us and have us really tell you?
Yes.
You do.
You do.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
24. Oh. Well, now would be the time to get into Playboy. By 25, it's time to get out.
Why did she wait so long?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a bit scared.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a New York City custodial assistant.
You're a janitor. That's a janitor.
I clean up.
What do you clean?
She's an assistant
the precinct.
Oh, you clean the police officer's place.
Really?
And does she have children or not?
Yes, I have a little girl. She's 2. Hi, Maya.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a husband or like a lot of women?
Single mother.
Single mother.
Where's your baby daddy?
Where's your baby daddy?
Sleep now.
But do you talk to him?
Oh, yes.
Oh, he is involved.
He doesn't live with you?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, we'll keep the marriage going longer.
Yeah.
Or the non-marriage.
Baby daddy.
The baby daddy. How old's the baby daddy?
He's 30.
He is 30. All right. Well,
she's got good lips, Howard.
Doing all right.
Let me see what are you going to do? You going to wear your hair up like that for the evaluation?
Well, if Playboy were going to take her, they would do extensions.
Yeah, you need a little work on that hair.
Yeah. You don't wear a lot of makeup. You don't wear a lot of makeup. Like you could get some more makeup on, and I bet you could look really great because there's a basis of a pretty face there, but you're not wearing a lot of makeup.
I don't know how to wear makeup.
Really?
No.
Never heard of a girl who don't know. Well, you are a janitoress.
Ask Elliot.
Yeah. And you're not even the full janitor. You're the assistant to the janitor.
Thank you.
Good Lord.
Who's below you, girl?
You got to be at the bottom.
Are there any like part-timers or anything?
No, we're full-time.
All right. Well, let me say.
You got a beautiful smile.
Yeah. Let me see you with the clothes off, if you don't mind.
Oh, dear.
I'd be happy to see it.
So she does whatever the janitor doesn't feel like doing.
Right. What do you do that the janitor won't do?
Well, actually, we don't have a janitor at the precinct. Only at headquarters.
I see. So you really do the full janitorial job.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have to go, like, some cop comes in after having a big lunch and he clogs up the toilet? That's your job?
No.
Whose job is that?
It won't get done.
Really?
Actually, they're called plumbing. No, they're called PMU. They're coming.
What? But you PMU.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but let's say a cop does an Abner Louima, like gets a nice plunger in there and works some guy over. You got to clean up. Get rid of the evidence. No, in all seriousness, let's say one of the cops, bless. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it stinks in there, and like there is some stuff.
Cells? Yes, there are.
You clean cells?
We sweep them out.
Okay, a guy comes into a cell. He's been drinking all night. He barfs. Whose job is it?
Depends who gets there first.
But that's
your job? Do you clean toilets?
Yes.
You do. And you see some funky stuff in that toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the 3rd floor now, nasty pigs. No.
Yeah, duty, right?
Yeah, they're disgusting.
You ever see any
I
evidence?
left it.
You ever see, and when you're in a cell, you ever see anything? Wait.
No.
Well, you know. Oh, you got to do something. It's got to end up somewhere.
All right, anyway, so let me see you nude, and I'll tell you where you're at. What a job I got.
I know. How do you get this job?
What a job she has.
I got my hand down my pants, if that helps you.
Looks like you got a pretty good body.
It looks like you're tight, honey.
Yeah, I work out.
Okay.
The boobies ain't bad.
No, not at all.
Those are real boobies. Haven't seen any after a baby. They're not bad.
Stomach looks okay, but we got to see when she...
Robin, take a look.
I'm not looking. You guys know this part better than me.
Oh, come on, Robin.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me see what else you're going to show us. You see, I'm a little nervous about that booty.
The booty?
Yeah.
The backside?
The backside.
You think she got J-Lo booty?
I think she got some J-Lo booty. Some ghetto booty. Jello booty.
Jello booty. What are you talking about?
They should call J-Lo Jello.
J-Lo brand pudding.
All right, let's see now. You got let me see. Turn around. You're wearing some sort of thong panty, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me take a look at you in that. You don't have to take those off.
Got Wonder Woman panties on.
Well, that ass ain't bad.
That's all right.
That's all right.
A little too jiggly.
But that's okay.
It ain't bad.
I think she's too good for Blacktail, though. I don't know.
Yes, I am.
You're too good for Blacktail. I don't know if you're good enough for Playboy.
Swank, maybe.
She can get in hot chocolate.
Great.
Airbrush?
Hot chocolate?
You could be in hot chocolate.
Yeah, she get in hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate singles.
Do you ever see black chicks in Penthouse? Does Penthouse do black chicks?
Very rarely.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Is that right? I have no
Which
idea.
one should be?
Hey, Howard, think it'll help us if we see the Hey Nanny?
No, it wouldn't help us at all.
I don't. See, I think that there's.
Answer to your question.
What do you think?
I think that there's a lack of grooming going on down there.
Yeah.
You do? Why do you say that? Look, she's shaved.
Completely.
Oh, come on, don't do that.
I was off.
Yes, you are.
Baby, let me tell you something. You're a good-looking girl. No question about it. But
What magazine?
not Playboy.
Okay, here you go. You got Blacktail.
No Blacktail.
Blacktail.
Playboy's on the other side. Then in the middle you got Hustler.
Hustler, maybe.
Gallery.
Gallery.
You get in the
Gallery, Girl Next Door, maybe. Get a little makeup on there.
But there are magazines that cater just to black guys that are, pretty decent magazines.
I definitely would do you. I got to tell you, your underwear is big enough for my mom to wear. That's giant-size underwear. I'll tell you that.
She was wearing a thong. It's giant.
It's high, but it's almost up to the belly button. That's a wrong.
You know what? You got the thing on backwards, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they look cute though.
You guys are great.
Yeah, and you're nice. Your thighs are getting a little big.
It's a little late for Playboy.
It's a little late
for Playboy.
You know, if we go in the time machine, when I go back in time to have some Farrah Fawcett, you come in there with me and we'll put you in Playboy.
You could drop her off in 1995.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll drop you off in 1995. I'm going all the way back to like 1980.
Go slow down.
Yeah.
When you get to 1995, look me up.
Yeah. I'll just kick you out of the time machine.
So, Howard, you don't think that she could be in one of those like fetish magazines, like her toilet or something like that?
Yeah, naked cleaning the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, she could be in like Blumpkin magazine.
Blumpkin mag. I read that.
She ever give a Blumpkin and then?
You should clean up those cells naked.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, in 1995, did you clean up Artie Lange's jail cell? No.
That's in L.A.
Well, you are a lovely woman. I don't think you're going to get in Playboy.
But she's cute enough to get into something.
I wish you're cute enough to be. Seriously, Blacktail magazine you can get in.
You can get into Artie's bed.
That's right, the magazine Artie's bed.
I read Blacktail, and I also read.
She's got natural breast, perfect tan.
There's a new black magazine out. I swear I don't know the name. They send it to me. They've been sending me the list.
Hot chocolate or chocolate singles.
Right. No, it's not hot chocolate. It's a different magazine.
Just one I saw the other day was called Black.
Oh, what?
That one.
Black.
You could be in black. You could be in that.
But you told me.
Yeah.
They don't do the airbrushing, is what you said.
They don't. They like. She'd be fine for this. You could get in the magazine.
Are you going to assist me?
What are you saying, baby?
Are you going to assist me getting in these magazines?
Assist you?
Yes,
now,
I'll help you out.
I would assist you, yes. I will pimp you out like you wouldn't believe it.
You know how she might be able to get into Playboy? If they ever did the Girls of NYPD, maybe she could get into that.
The Girls of Janitor.
Yeah. The Girls of
Janitor magazine.
Janitor magazine. Hot Janitor.
Custodial.
But you don't want to do porn or anything like that.
No, thank you.
Would you do an anal video?
No.
You will not?
Be a custodial.
If I did it,
If I dated her, would she be willing to tell my mother she's Sicilian?
You got a nice. She got a nice body, right, Artie?
Yeah, she's got her ass. I love asses like that.
Thank you.
But those bloomers.
Artie, I have an ass like that.
Let's see that, baby.
I think her breasts have held up pretty well.
Yeah, I think for a woman with a baby, you've done pretty good there.
And even for a woman without a baby, they're not bad.
I mean, not professionally, physically.
She's got those like pepperoni style areolas. Those things are huge.
Yeah.
You got like 2 dinner
pepperoni.
plates.
Yeah, very nice.
They're not quite coffee cup sauces, but they're on the way.
No,
you look pretty good, honey.
Thank you. But the bloomers were a bad choice for today.
Yeah, it's like 1920s or something.
When you know you're going to be taking your pants off in front of a bunch of guys, you got to wear a little thong, honey.
I think you should always wear underwear like something's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, because didn't your mother tell you that?
You never know when you're going to be. You never know when the touch of fame will greet you.
Yo, Latrice, put on clean underwear.
Well, Latrice, congratulations on what I think is a good evaluation. You're not Playboy material, but you're a good-looking girl.
Really cute.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're very pretty. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but Playboy is different.
Mike the Cop, you're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
I find it very hard to believe that she's a cleaner for the NYPD.
Why?
Every cleaner that we have has, like, missing arms, one eye, hunchback. Where did she work? What precinct?
Hey, Mike, you forgot when Bernard came in, he said he was going to clean up the precincts. He hired 120 new custodials as of May 16th. You forgot? Maybe we didn't get into your precinct.
Excuse me.
What precinct?
Hey, never mind that. Could you imagine dealing with you?
And let me just say one other thing. Free Chuck Schwartz. Wrongly in prison 25 months.
All right.
Excuse me. Man makes a point.
Hey, Chuck Schwartz, though, isn't they're saying he might be innocent?
I read an article in New York Magazine that looked pretty good. You know, his wife called here once, was trying to get us behind it, but it's a tough case to untangle.
Yeah. But
every time I open my mouth, they want to throw me in jail.
That's neither here nor there.
That one's wrong. Even Justin Volpe says he wasn't there.
Yeah.
You ever find anything weird in the garbage pails when you're taking them out?
No.
Nothing strange?
Not yet.
Drugs?
How long have you been there?
May 16th.
2 months.
You haven't banged any of the police officers yet?
No.
That's the move, honey.
No, not at all interested.
Maybe before you know it, you'll be a full-time janitor.
Get yourself a sergeant.
You'll be the head janitor.
Moving on up.
Moving on up.
To the east side.
East side.
To that deluxe apartment in the sky.
All right, well, anyway, nice to meet you, Latrice.
Thank you, Howard.
We're going to take a little break. Do we have to break, or can we start the news?
Yeah, we can do a break.
We can do a break. We'll do a break, and then we'll have the news right after
And
that.
let Latrice pull herself back together.
Yeah, honey, you pull yourself back together.
Not too quickly.
Please. Go ahead.
Even Miss Florida listens to Howard Stern.
In the mornings, I like to listen to Howard Stern.
Will you get naked?
I do find him amusing.
Show me your boobs.
Sometimes I think he's a little over the edge.
Show me your boobs.
But he's funny.
Howard Stern. Howard Stern.
I sympathize with him because here he is, the father of America, and he can't come out of the closet.
Howard Stern.
All right, I'm going to do some news. Harold, what is it?
Hi, Howard.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the first time I've ever gotten through. I've been listening to you for like 14 years. I think that Stuttering John should fart on AJ.
To even things out?
And if AJ can get up.
I think if John, farted on...
Am I on the radio?
Yes, you are, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, anyway, Robin, what's in the news?
You know, there was a guy who got...
Good job. Yeah, good job on that phone call. After 14 years of listening.
Radio time.
See, he doesn't censor any calls.
Yeah, if I did, it would move along a lot faster.
There's a guy running... Well, he's not running around, probably, but he's got a fully mechanical heart inside his body, and he's still alive. Nobody expected this guy to last more than a couple of days, and he's still here.
Why do you think a guy would agree to be a part of the experiment if he's only expected to live a couple of days?
I have no idea why people want to be part of these medical experiments when they're already suffering and debilitated.
Well, no, I would be part of it if they said to me, okay, we're going to give you a heart transplant, and you might live for 10 years, but for a couple of days.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That first of all, this was given such a poor shot of working that they didn't want to do it until he was absolutely almost going to die anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was only supposed to survive maybe a couple of days with it. So why would you participate in that? At all. There's no upside. But he's still here.
It's freaky. Like a mechanical thing.
Mechanical heart, man.
And it's like plugged into a wall.
Like a socket.
He can get an extension cord and go to a ball game.
I mean, if somebody trips over an extension cord, that guy's...
It does run on a battery, but the battery only lasts like an hour or something.
You know the vice
You got to stay plugged in.
You know the vice president's going to end up on that. And he'll be like, hey, get away from my plug.
That's why they're doing it, so we can keep Dick Cheney alive. The recipient of the world's first fully self-contained artificial heart has high praise for the company that built it. He is still unidentified. We don't know who he is.
See, like if they came to me and said, look, Stern, you're on your way out. We want to experiment on you with an artificial heart. You're probably going to live 3 days. I'd say no. And he goes, well, here's the deal. For those 3 days, we're going to let you have oral from Pamela Anderson, and you can bang her as much as you want. Any orifice you want. Right. And I go, okay, put the heart in and let me have my last 3 days.
But see, I don't think you're in any shape to do this.
Get a good 3 days.
Watch, I could do it. Always am aroused. Even with my artificial heart.
Even with your arteries collapsing.
Yeah.
All right.
That artery never collapsed. Notice how that artery always works.
So anyway, that guy is still with us, and he wrote a little note to the company that made the heart and says that he hopes to thank them in person one day. He continues to recover at a Louisville Jewish hospital. Or Louisville's Jewish hospital. They don't have many of them.
The 5 Jews in Louisville.
Every hospital's for Jews.
Was performed over a month ago. So look at that.
Hey, look over there at the Jew hospital. Yeah. They got an artificial heart.
How are you, Doctor?
Boy, them Jews. Come on.
Dr. Jew.
Ein Kimmel ein Kamoshienu, ein Kimmel ein Kamoshienu.
That's what you hear when you walk through the door.
Yeah. That's the hospital for the colored Jews.
That's me, a Jew doctor.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't like them, but when I get sick, I like them.
Yeah.
If I'm sick, get me a Jew.
Get me a Jew.
Hello, Jew. This hair is a hillbilly. I need a doctor.
I don't want to see a Jew unless I'm sick.
I'm sick of the Jews.
The house needs cleaning. I want a colored.
We went over to the Louisville Jew Hospital and got ourselves a new heart. And, of course, the Jew
fixed me right up.
The Jew lawyer told me to go there. We got one of them in Jew Hospital.
Oh, dear.
My Jew lawyer and my colored janitor.
My girl and my Jew.
Ein Kimmel ein Kamoshienu, ein Kimmel ein Kamoshienu.
It's
a beautiful song.
None of your business. You knew it would blow your mind.
Now, how do you
the translation is kill Jesus. Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew?
A lot of people out there, are having this problem. Their children are bedwetters.
Right.
And they don't know what to do about
it. Jews.
The Jew doctor will fix it. If he don't fix it,
Jews know how to fix that.
That's my boy, the Jew.
My boy's wet in his bed. I need a Jew to fix it and a colored to clean it up.
Come on. God bless Louisville.
Oh, dear.
Bring in that colored janitor. Where's she at?
I need a janitorial assistant.
Yeah. My colored gal wants to be a Playboy. What the hell are you going to do with her? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Excuse me?
How about colored tail? You could be in that. Colored tail.
Excuse me. You don't say to a white man, excuse me, down here in Louisville. We'll send you right to the Jew doctor.
You ain't nothing but a colored down here.
Yeah. Talking about a solution to bedwetting.
You go up north, you'll be a black.
You go up north, you want to be African, whatever. Down here, you colored.
Right. and proud.
If you're lucky, you'll be a Negro.
Yeah.
Negro?
We ain't up to that yet.
Go ahead, Robin. How do you get rid of bedwetting?
This woman in Pottersville has come up with a solution. She took a clothespin and put it on her child's genitals.
Come here.
What? Let me circumcise you.
We close you up with a clothespin.
Yeah.
Now try to go.
This here is a vagina pin. A girl bedwetter. It's very rare, by the way.
No, it's a boy bedwetter, I'm sure.
Put the clothespin on a boy?
Oh, God. What, you can't do that with a girl.
KC, come in here and get your clothespin, boy. You told me to do it.
I'm going to turn you into a Jew. Get you some money.
Will you stop?
You're a Jew.
Well, this woman, I guess not everybody thought this was a good solution to the problem, because now Brenda Prosser and her husband...
Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew? Ain't you a Jew?
They've been charged with abuse, and...
Right.
That's abuse.
They've been charged with abusing a 7- and a 14-year-old in their custody. The Prossers allegedly locked the children in their basement, beat them with objects, and placed a clothespin on one of the kids' genitals to keep him from wetting the bed.
Where's my Jew music?
I want my Jew music.
Come on, boy. Play it again. Let's go. Kill you, we gonna kill you, we gonna kill you, we're gonna kill you, burn you on a cross, burn you on a cross, burn you on... All right. Come on, let's go.
Some people who left their children in the...
Bring it on home now!
I'll talk to you.
I'm sorry.
Said that these charges are overblown.
Yes.
So,
Norm MacDonald's a Jew.
That's right.
Right.
They're all Jews.
Helping that coked up Artie Lange.
Oh, my. Anyway, don't use the clothespin trick. It'll get you into trouble.
Where's my Jew music for the Jew hospital? Come on. Let's sing it all together. 1, 2, 3, now. Today is Hitler's birthday. Today is Hitler's birthday.
Oh, my God.
It's all angry.
A former social worker at a New Mexico boys' school in Springer is accused of being a female predator.
Yes.
The Albuquerque attorney says a former social worker at the boys' school at Springer coerced male inmates into having sex with her by telling them that she would use her authority to get them released. They have filed a tort claim, putting the state on notice of their intent to sue on behalf of 4 boys who say they were pressured into with the former social worker at this school. So there.
Where were these social workers when I went to school?
Nobody ever forced you to do anything.
Nothing.
But come to class. What is it with Jerry Lewis? Now, every time we get close to the...
Jerry Jewish?
Every time we get close to that stupid telethon now, he's going to almost die.
Well, what's he say now?
He's got pneumonia.
Give him the Jew heart.
And,
All right, get that up.
And this will lessen the number of hours he can spend telethoning this year.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
they expect that he will try to drag himself there anyway.
You know, I was in my bed, dying of pneumonia. And the Jew doctors called me and told me that thanks to all of your research money, we have isolated the Duchenne's gene.
Will somebody find a cure for Jerry Lewis?
Really?
The Duchenne's gene.
Duchenne.
They named it Duchenne because I'm a big douche.
Lewis was hit with viral meningitis last year.
He's sick.
And this year he got the pneumonia.
He always has a big announcement.
Yeah.
By the time the telethon rolls around.
They found the cure for Duchenne's gene. What about muscular dystrophy? What happened to that? Duchenne.
Muscular dystrophy has built me another home.
Yeah, $50 zillion and there's no cure yet.
According to his manager. How old is Jerry Lewis? Let's guess.
113. A year older than the Pope. And And I'm going to perform an abortion with my nails, my fingernails. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
75 years old.
75.
75. He's got the hair of a 4-year-old. Big black nail polish or whatever he puts on there, boot polish.
He's been hosting the telethon for 35 years. And,
oh, yeah.
He usually appears for most of the 21.5 hours that the telethon is on.
Really? Have they made a dent in finding a cure?
No.
Dent?
35 years.
35 years.
I think that disease would be wiped out by now.
I think we've thrown enough money at that disease.
Really?
So, there you go. He will try to make it, but don't expect him to be up all 21 hours this year.
Oh, no.
Because he's got...
Duchenne. I isolated the gene. That's
my
the big...
kids.
That's the news?
I dragged myself out here for my kids.
Lady.
Steamy testimony again in the Gold Club trial down in Atlanta. I don't know what they're trying to prove, except that sports figures have with girls.
Yeah, big deal. Sports guys like whores. Gee whiz.
What the hell?
Go figure that out.
That's what we've proven in this.
Well, I did. Excuse me, Mr. Ewing, were you at the strip club? Yes. Yeah. Did the stripper perform oral on you? Yes. Oh, my God, that's so shocking. Yes. I mean, come on.
Is that a crime?
What does
the strip club.
What does you mean by oral?
Andrew Jones said he's a regular at the strip club. He's a member of the Atlanta Braves. And he has described on the stand his encounters with dancers at the club. And he says he never paid either because he was told it wasn't necessary.
Mr. Ewing, isn't it true, in fact, that you received a nasty Sanchez and a Blumpkin while sitting on the toilet bowl? Yes.
So?
Is it true you received an angry dragon? Yes. Yes, I did.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
I performed an angry dragon on myself.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I am the angry.
Yes, she was massaging my balloon knot.
Oh.
That's out of order. We didn't ask you that.
You are out of order.
An angry dragon coming out of him, that's going to flood the place.
Her nostrils were flowing.
The Levy family's attorney says that the parents of Chandra Levy want to talk to Gary Condit, the congressman who was alleged to have had an affair with their daughter.
At this point, if she's alive, how could she come out of hiding? I mean...
Well, yeah, life is too embarrassing.
All right.
They say they want to interview the California Democrat to learn more about Chandra and Condit's relationship. Now, I don't think this is really something you want to discuss with her mother and father, what you used to do to this girl. You know?
Yeah. Let me get in detail how we used to get down.
Because I don't think it was really a relationship.
Yeah, that's what you want to tell her. Yeah, I received a nasty Sanchez.
She used to blumkin me all the time.
Yeah, I received 2 Blumpkins and a nasty Sanchez.
Tied her up. Senator Condit gave me a Blumpkin.
You realize Chandra Levy has got to be the biggest star in the world right now? I mean, that Fox News channel is all Chandra all the time, and I love it.
I was going to say, with this kind of level of recognition, she could go anywhere.
She could replace Brooke Shields in Cabaret when she's done with her
I advised Senator Condit on how to dispose of a whore. I prefer water.
Oh, no.
He's a congressman, by the way. Artie.
Congressman, I'm sorry.
That's a hell of a Kennedy impression.
I advised Congressman Condit.
I advised.
The Levy family.
The disposing of a whore.
The Levy family says that they are increasingly irritated with Condit's reticence to meet with their investigators.
As they should be. Chandra Levy needs to be found. Condit is acting in a bizarre fashion. And blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
Also in the news, there's a woman that George Bush, whatever Bush
his IQ is 98.
91.
91, excuse me.
Give him any more points than he deserves. He has proposed this woman...
That's 4 points higher than me.
...named Mary Sheila Gall to be the head of the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Yes.
And her detractors say that she usually blames the consumers when they have a problem with products, and therefore she should not head this agency. Here is Senator Hillary Clinton.
Bye, Senator. Senator Hillary Clinton is going to say what, Robin? How should I know?
This woman should not head this agency.
All right. Here we go.
This is a consumer protection agency. It should not be too much to ask that the person who chairs it will actually protect consumers.
Here's Miss Gall herself being grilled by a Senate panel considering her nomination.
All right. Make that happen.
Just tell me what you believe.
I believe that we need to take a look at
the Jews
products. We also need to take a look at behavior.
So sometimes she says, you know, the people are wrong when these products go bad on the Democrats object. So anyway, we'll see if she gets that.
We looked at the Jews, Senator.
Nomination.
All right, come on.
Stop that.
Let's get done with this.
This nomination through Congress. There are some Chinese scholars who have been accused of spying in China, and now they're being probably thrown out of the country rather than having to serve time in jail in China. Right. Here's Li Xiaomin, an expelled professor, who says he's happy to be out of China. Number one.
I'm really glad to be home, visiting my family.
Yeah, we'll learn the language.
And I would like to thank our government for its great help.
We snuggled out a secret beef and broccoli recipe.
We got all the great recipes.
Why are we worried about China? Got our own problems.
Really? And then here's Zhu Donghu.
More Jews.
Zhu Donghu.
Hey, everybody. Come here in Louisville. Zhu Donghu. Zhu Donghu.
Oh, dear. His wife, Gao Zhan. Going to be released, and he's very happy. He believes that Colin Powell has been instrumental in getting her out of China.
He is the main
man.
He negotiated.
He's my main brother.
I think, and he promised.
He the #1 Negro.
He will raise this issue, and he did.
Issue? That's like Rush Hour 3, Colin Powell and that guy.
There you go.
Rush Hour 3.
Colin Powell and that guy. Rush Hour 3.
Zhu Donghu and Colin Powell in Rush Hour 3. Hey, baby. Oh.
Zhu Donghu.
You need to...
There was a bizarre incident here in New York the other day in Sunset Park. A girl was getting a driving lesson from a friend of hers. And they went through a guardrail and over into some water. They were down there for 20 minutes, and, you know, before rescuers could get them out of that car, and they didn't expect to find anybody alive, but the girl survived.
Well, how do you survive 20 minutes in the water?
Well, they pulled her out of there. She is unconscious.
On Fear Factor, they only made it 60 seconds.
She's unconscious. There was an air
They
bubble.
took her to the Jew hospital, that's how. Told you it worked.
They figured out that water. Them Jews.
She's listed in extremely critical condition.
Right.
But there was a little pocket of air at the back of the car.
Oh.
And she got back there and she was able to breathe.
A pocket of air will ruin the plan. You don't want a whore
Make sure there's no
to get
pocket
caught
of air.
in that pocket of air. I've made that clear.
Unfortunately, the guy, her friend who was giving her the driving lesson...
Fortunately, in Chappaquiddick, there was no air.
Yeah, there was no pocket of air.
No pocket of air for her to breathe.
I've made this clear.
How can you tell Jenna Bush that it's not okay to constantly drink and drive when
Take away her pocket of air.
rewarded every time she does anything wrong? Now they say she has an internship this summer. She is working with the Los Angeles-based entertainment firm that produced the HBO series The Sopranos.
Yes.
A spokeswoman for the Bush family has confirmed that Jenna Bush is in Los Angeles this summer, but declined to talk about where she is.
They should pump the air out of the car before leaving the scene.
That's right.
I read a blind item in one of the tabloids this week that said something about a politician's daughter who was seen doing illegal substances in a club out in Los Angeles, and her handlers, who try to keep her out of trouble, were trying to cover her. So,
no comment.
Put the pocket of air out of the car.
The pocket of air was not brought up. at the time.
Really? But anyway, so I hope that's not about Jenna Bush. They're talking about a universal rating system. Did you hear this?
Yes.
There's another
I did.
conference going on in Washington.
I'm against it.
I want a pocket of air.
And they want the ratings that, they put on movies and television shows and radio programs and all other forms of entertainment to be the same.
Yes.
So that if you see an R rating goes... It's the same on television.
They will only... Aura Entertainment is very good.
Right.
Don't do away with it.
They're not talking about doing away with anything.
Oh.
It's just that there are different TV ratings than there are movie ratings.
Yes.
And the parents are confused. The parents continue to be confused.
I'm confused.
They don't know how to use their V-chip. They can't understand the ratings. And now everybody's wondering whether all the ratings should be the same. But some people are saying, you can't they're not equivalent. You can't judge a record the same way you would judge a movie.
We know no matter what, our rating is completely bizarre.
Yes, off the wall.
Triple X.
I guess so.
It's not funny. It's not fun.
This show is criminal.
Yeah, we've been fined by the government for this horror scene.
The whores that listen to the show are my friends.
And what do you think about an insurance policy for teachers just in case they get killed in school?
I'm for it.
The National Education Association is making...
I'm for it.
Immediately.
I'm for it.
$150,000 death benefit for teachers and other school employees slain at work.
I believe we should drown the teachers. No pocket of air in Chappaquiddick.
Miss Kopechne was a teacher.
We taught her a lesson.
And I had to teach her a lesson.
Wish I had insurance.
My pocket of air.
If she had teacher's insurance...
I would have been rich.
I would have been in the money.
They are saying that school or street violence is creeping into the schools more and more.
I never earned $1 on my own. I finally could have made some scratch.
That's right.
They hope this is an insurance benefit they never have to pay. It is something they feel is necessary.
I'm proud to say no Kennedy's ever generated any money.
That's right. My cousin killed a whore with a golf club.
That was alleged. He wasn't convicted, right, Robin?
No.
That was alleged. I'm sorry. And that produced no money for the family.
No Kennedys have ever been convicted.
That's the only hard work we've done. And
we had to give up a stinking $15 million on John.
Oh, dear. Survivor Jerry, the one who was the most hated in the last episodes of
I'm
Survivor.
for it.
She is in the new issue of Playboy.
Yeah, I want to see that.
She's taking it all off.
She is
She's coming in next week also, Howard.
Oh, good.
Good. We want to see her boobies and crotch.
A piece of ass.
She's taking off her clothes because she doesn't want to be pigeonholed.
I'd like to pigeonhole her.
I'd like to drown her.
This is the senator from Massachusetts.
Go ahead, Senator.
I would like to pigeonhole her.
I would like to see Jerry naked in a car drowning.
No pocket of air for Jerry on Survivor.
Let's see her survive that.
Yeah.
Actor Jason Priestley, they're announcing.
No pocket of air for him.
He's a goner.
He's a goner.
He has completed his alcohol counseling.
Let me say something serious about that. Thank God this guy got into rehab. Yeah. He's as whacked out of his skull as anybody I've ever met. This is a guy I know. I had him on the show a couple of times. Then all of a sudden he's mad at me. I still don't know what he's mad about.
What's his problem?
Yeah, what's his problem? You know what? Now he's off the drinks. Maybe he'll come in here.
We'll have to see.
Like a man.
It was mandatory for him to
come in like a man.
That's right. Get back on the booze.
After
like
a
me.
car accident in which his Porsche was totaled.
What a pussy. Can't handle his booze. Artie had a whole... What did you have there at the track the other day? Whole bottle of what?
Whole bottle of Johnny Black. You don't see me back.
But you know, the whole time you were on coke, you never ran over anything, did you?
That's right.
No. I never drowned anyone.
Except Miss Kopechne, which is all conjecture.
She's lying.
After you drown the girl, you drown your sorrows.
That's right.
And a nice big bottle of J&B.
You swim across the creek to your hotel, and you have a shot. Pull your pants back up.
He did go have a couple of shots, didn't he?
Of course he did.
I had to settle my nerves.
He was upset.
No Kennedy has ever generated any money.
That's right. I was rattled over the non-revenue generated.
I had a DWG.
I was fasting.
Drunk while drowning.
Jason totaled his Porsche.
A lot of work.
one of his friends who was, I guess, in the car with him had suffered a broken arm.
Drowning a whore is a lot of work, yet it somehow produces no money.
No money.
All right, now it's Miller time.
It has cost the family money.
So anyway, Jason is free to work now. He's finished with that counseling.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. He has a lot to be sad about.
Poor kid.
Your poor kid's good looking.
Yeah, poor kid.
At the box office, you can see something called... no, not something called Oz. You can see something called The Score, which was directed by Frank Oz.
I saw it and I liked it.
Great stuff.
Marlon Brando. Here's Frank Oz to answer the question, why is Marlon Brando such a diva?
He's never been a diva to my mind. He's a creative, sweet, gracious, complex genius.
And he wants to talk about the Jews.
That's right. I'll settle the score.
Marlon Brando saying. Robert De Niro is also in there.
Drown Robert De Niro.
Movie.
No pocket of
Here he tells us why he decided to do The Score.
Where's the cash register sound? Why did Robert De Niro decide to do The Score? There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it was very good, very good, very good. This guy can't talk to save his life, this Robert De Niro. Listen to this guy try and get out a sentence.
This type of caper movie, and I thought, I like Frank. I said, and the script needed to work, but we worked on it, as we went along, and before that, and I had, I thought it was a good project to do.
A little bit.
Frank's a Jew, and I work with him.
Oh, dear. And did he enjoy working on the movie?
I wanted to drown him.
I'd drown him.
The excitement of finding different things, and especially movies, that the whole movie comes together piece by piece, and if you do a little piece that you feel is exceptionally well done, it's...
He can't be for real, can he? Because he's a bright guy.
That guy's got 2 Oscars.
I swear to you, they're sending me different clips than the questions he's supposed to be
He's got
answering.
restaurants, he's building hotels, movie studios.
Every kind of thing.
He can't be this whacked out.
Says he's working on scripts.
It's fun to see how that comes out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, anyway, there's other things.
Good movie. Like the movie The Score.
I saw it twice.
Right?
Yeah,
it's good.
I really did. I loved it. I saw it again.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, America's Sweethearts. Here she talks about...
Another no talent.
What she plays in this movie.
Put her in the car with no air.
Catherine Zeta.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Jones. I'm jonesing for a beer.
Me and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Eddie and Gwen on screen.
Listen to her. Now she's a whole star. She married some dude. Now she's a big star. Listen to what I got to put up with.
Are the quintessential, you just want them to be in love.
She's a Jew. She's a Greek Jew.
I mean, there are a couple that audiences only want to see them. They know the ending. They want to see the movie.
Well, shut up and go have another baby with Michael Douglas.
Jeez.
For Christ's sake.
Get together. And off-screen.
You're not even a good actress.
We're in the middle of separating.
I believe me, you're not even that good looking. Just go home.
I
don't mean really go home. I mean go cool off.
Right.
Yeah.
Go home mentally. Divorce papers.
Anything else?
And your favorite actress right now, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Here
she's good.
Tell us
I like Legally Blonde.
the message of Legally Blonde.
She's going to be in some new movie I read. Sounds kind of interesting, actually.
Female camaraderie is one of the most important themes of this movie. Is really about finding...
She had a bit of a gut in that movie, though. They could have... She could have slimmed down a little more.
your strength as a woman and really finding the friends and enemies that you do.
What? I don't know what she's talking about. Her and De Niro should have a baby.
De Niro School of
Interview. Anything else, Robin?
Mark Wahlberg is the star.
Planet of the Apes opening Friday.
Planet of the Apes. What did he think after seeing the film?
I thought the ape looked like Janet Jackson.
Starring Janet Jackson.
That's what he said. Tell us that.
Hilarious. He's a good man.
He's a good man. Yeah, he's a good boy.
That boy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that ape looked like Janet Jackson.
That Wahlberg. Wait, Wahlberg.
Wahlberg, that's a Jew.
That's a Jew. Fool me again.
Wahlberg is a Jew. Wahlberg is a Jew.
Marky Mark's a Jew.
I hadn't seen a frame of film until very...
Yeah, that ape looked good like Janet Jackson. Yeah. They got another ape in there looked like Paula Abdul, that Arab.
All the Jacksons, Latoya.
Yeah.
Michael is there.
And they're all chasing after a Jew.
They got an ape in there look like Shaq. Now, come on.
Tito is there.
That's bestiality.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that, Planet of the Porch Monkeys. Why, you talk about the Jews and black people, we can do what we want. You from the north, we're from the south.
Come down here and kiss my ass.
Right, F you.
Recently, I saw the teaser trailer, and I was...
Yeah.
I already was pretty excited about the way it was going to look.
Well, take off your shirt so you can see your abs and your ass.
But I had no idea it was going to look that cool. I mean, it was really cool.
Disrobe, Jew.
Yeah. Hey, Wahlberg, take off your pants.
Let's disrobe the Jew.
Disrobe the Jew. That boy sounds like a Jew.
We put another Jew in a loincloth. We nailed him up.
Yeah. All right. That's it, right?
That's what
good. We got to get out of here. Artie Lange, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Good luck with all your problems.
I'm going to deal with it.
Am I going to see you tomorrow?
I'll be here tomorrow. Man.
Good, man.
Wonderful.
I can't wait.
Good. I'll sit here waiting for you.
We're not going to leave till you get back.
That's right, boy.
Yes.
Yes. When are we going to get past Mary Jo Kopechne on this show?
Can I go somewhere without someone mentioning a pocket of air?
What's the matter with it? Would you ever get married, Artie?
No.
Right. Even if, like, you don't ever want to have kids, right?
No, actually, I do. I would like to have a kid eventually.
But not a marriage.
You're too selfish to be married.
No,
or to have
I'm that way. Like, if someone, anything living that I'm responsible for in some way, shape, or form.
What?
Like, even like a plant. If somebody gave me that, I wouldn't be able to.
It becomes a burden, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pay attention to it.
I should have known that about myself. I'm a very selfish human being. And you know, so that you're at least self-aware. You understand. Robin is too. Right. Robin always said, I'm too selfish to get married.
Yeah, I don't like, when I don't want to do something, I don't want to do it. And I just...
it's called being an adult. You did that your whole life as a kid. You had
right. You're listening to somebody your whole life. You can't wait not to have to listen.
And then everyone rushes off and gets married, so they have to listen.
I don't understand. I never understand.
And compromise. and I don't...
And work things out.
I have a friend who got married when he was 19.
Oh.
You know, and in hindsight, we should have duct taped him to a chair.
Yeah.
Well, I got into my relationship when I was 19. And you know what? I swear I say this to people. I said... I don't think my wife and I were done in by each other. I don't think we hated each other. I think we were done in by marriage. It just is stifling.
But what do you have if you don't have the marriage? You wouldn't have known her for 20 years.
That's true. But, I mean, we see each other on a regular basis because of the kids. And I really enjoy seeing her. I like her. I don't hate her.
This is a nice woman. What would you
Great
like
woman.
Is it better seeing her now every once in a while?
No. It's painful, actually. I mean, it's hard for us to see each other because it brings up all the memories, and, you know, you tend to remember the good times and the kids, and it's very painful, but you do it for your kids.
Right.
So, you know, it's difficult in that respect. But what's with me that I didn't know? Like, it seems
you wouldn't be able to make the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I should have said, you're the most selfish son of a gun on the planet.
I think most people are, though. They don't want to admit it.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right.
But why didn't I see it?
Most people
That's
don't.
pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to fall in love when you're 19.
Right.
Hey, look. I think you're doing fine.
Come here.
You're looking to Artie for advice? You want him to know the answer?
My life is so desperate, I'm talking to Artie.
Listen, cheer up.
A guy who was in rehab.
Look at, he's already out of this relationship.
You know what they do? In rehab, they make you write a goodbye love letter to your drug of choice.
Oh.
Right.
It's like an exercise.
Did you have your letter?
I had to write. You know what? I might be able to dig it up.
Dig it up. You have
that
it.
Is great.
I know you have it.
Dear Cocaine. Like that's how it starts.
Does it? Dear Cocaine.
It was something like Dear Cocaine, and you got to, like, say why you loved it so much.
At first, did you say to them, look, I'm not writing any stupid letter to cocaine,
right.
and then, like, they won't let you out until you write
right.
it?
They said, I made a stance. I said, I'm not writing a letter to cocaine. And they said, well, then, you're going to be scrubbing toilets for another 2 months.
What, were you, like, in mandatory rehab?
For a little while,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Why? So, where did you write this letter? Like, where were you when you wrote it?
Like you're in there with all the other convicts at, like, a big lunchroom table, you know, like a banquet table, and you're sitting next to each other, and some guys are writing Dear Angel Dust, some guys are writing Dear Alcohol.
Dear Crank.
And like,
Dear Crank.
I'm trying to decide, did I like Coke or alcohol better?
Yeah, who should I write to?
Right.
Who did you write to?
Actually, I don't want to make one jealous.
Did you write the cocaine or alcohol?
I wrote the cocaine.
Right.
Because I wanted to...
Keep drinking.
Right. I wasn't ready to give up my relationship with alcohol.
You still have a relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, and it's going well.
You've never written alcohol letter.
Like you with your wife. I see her every once in a while.
Right.
And
it's still good.
Yeah.
It's real good.
It still brings up a lot of those memories, but, you know.
Did they suggest you write a letter to alcohol as well?
I think the Coke is what put me there. So
but wait a minute. When you go in, you usually have to declare what you're addicted to. So.
Well, at the meetings, you have to go, hi, my name is Artie Lange. I'm an addict, alcoholic. My drug of choice is...
A whole spiel.
It is the most. It really is.
And I got to figure a lot of the people are real lowlives.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Do you look at it and you go, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
How the heck
you
did
look
I
around and you go, look, I'm a... But, man.
Did you have a roommate?
Yeah.
Are you still in touch?
Safe to say I had a roommate.
Were you in touch?
No, I don't talk to the guy anymore.
No.
Actually, he was a fireman, and the first day we met, he said, hey, man, give me your number. You know, if we ever need to talk to each other, this will work. So I gave him my phone number. That night, I knew him for like 8 hours.
Right.
This was before I was sleeping over there.
Yeah.
Like a few days before we had to move in.
Yeah.
He went nuts. He had no alcohol in his apartment, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, he drank hairspray.
Oh.
Because it had alcohol in it.
You gave him your number.
Right. So the cops come. He starts making all this noise, and he passes out from the hairspray or something.
Right.
And the cops come to his apartment because the neighbor called. They search around. They find my number, so they figure I'm like a good friend of his.
Yeah, right.
At 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is after I just got fired from a TV show, got arrested. My mother is like freaking out. I'm staying with her. 4 a.m.
The phone rings.
The phone rings. She picks it up. It's the cops. And they go, Mrs. Lange, one of your son's friends drank hairspray.
She figures you got some friends.
Right, and we want to know if he'll come down here. And I had to go down and help. The guy was handcuffed to a bed in a hospital, and I was the only guy who knew, and sort of, talked him through it. And then we were roommates for like a month at this place.
Oh, you got real close, huh?
Yeah.
You know, when I used to read about Kitty Dukakis drinking perfume,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, 'cause she's so into alcohol, if they took all the alcohol away, she'd start drinking perfume. I'd sit there and I go, what the hell is wrong with this bro? Guys drinking hairspray? I mean, it's unfriggin' believable how addicted they get.
He sprayed hairspray down his throat.
That's amazing.
Because it had alcohol.
Because this was like the can. This wasn't like a bottle.
It was like Aquanet or something,
Oh, my God.
Artie, your life depresses me.
That is amazing.
Just trying to help you out, man.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Gary. What?
Artie, when you were in rehab, I heard somebody else who went through rehab had to do this. Did you have to write letters to the three people you hurt the most?
Yeah, something like that. Not 3 people, but like...
Who were the 3 people?
Well...
Did you write one to your mom?
Yeah, I wrote one to my mother. And
oh, this is funny.
It's framed now in the basement.
Are you
Is it really?
No,
it's not.
What'd you say in your letter?
A very nice letter to my mom, I think. That was actually kind of poignant, and she wanted to frame it. And I said, Ma, if people come, I don't want people to see this.
Yeah, right. It's personal, not for the neighbors.
Right, exactly.
I'm in rehab, you fruit.
My son has never said these things.
You fruit. I'm nice to you for 1 minute, now you want to just show all the neighbors.
And the other thing is, quite frankly, I didn't do it. I did it to get out of the joint.
Right,
not
you weren't sincere.
Right.
Yeah, there was nothing sincere about it. The man's an actor.
But just imagine, his mother had never heard him be like that before. It was so amazing she wanted to frame it.
Artie, what did you write in your letter to cocaine?
I wrote, you got to say...
Dear Cocaine.
Yeah, Dear Cocaine, I met you when I was like, younger, and we were good together for a little while. I thought we were good together for a while. It's like you're writing to a chick.
Right.
And I remember...
Chick, better than a chick.
Yeah, it's like, and it was stuff like... Like, I tried to be funny in it, but the counselor, like, got mad at that because he said it's not a joke. Because I said stuff like, you made me feel better about myself. You made me feel strong. Right. You made me feel like I could beat up that bouncer at that bar.
You made me think I could outrun the cops the night they arrested me.
Exactly. And, you know, the guy got mad.
Now, if you write that letter group and read it to the group.
Yes.
Oh. It's just one humiliation after another. That's what gets you off.
No, it is. You never.
Artie, how have you not turned this into a comedy routine?
Well, no. Part of my stand-up act has to do with.
No. And so you got up and you read your letter, your Dear Cocaine letter to everyone.
Right.
Were they moved by it?
No, because they're all these just like these Puerto Rican kids who could barely speak English anyway.
Did you have the best letter?
I think I was the best writer in the class.
Yeah, I think so. I would think you would be the best.
I think I was the wittiest.
Yeah.
What did the other people say? Oh, my God.
About the letter?
No, in their letters. It probably was our...
Well, that's the...
Dear Cocaine.
Kakayenu.
Dear Kakayenu. No, that's cocaine. I can't spell that.
Artie, you had to read your mom's letter in front of the group, too, right?
Yes.
Because I knew a guy who went to rehab, and he was drinking beer, right? So he went to rehab, and he was telling me about it, and it sounded so painful. He wrote a letter to the 3 people he hurt the most: his wife, his 5-year-old, and his 3-year-old. And then he's got to get up and read them in front of the group, and he said he was crying. And
hey, on the phone right now is Artie's Cocaine. Hey, Artie's Cocaine, how are you?
Hi, Artie. I miss you. How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Did you get the letter?
Yeah, you were the best to me. You did me so much. I loved it.
All right. That's nice. Artie's Cocaine, everybody.
Can I just ask...
So you wrote your mother, and who else?
I wrote my mother. Well, the thing is, like, when I was there, I had so much other stuff on my mind because I owed this bookie all this money, and I had to try to figure out a way to pay the guy, and I thought my career was completely over. So I was so preoccupied.
It is. You're on this show.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
And I wrote to one of my friends who, I borrowed a lot of money from, but I eventually paid him back, and I wrote to a cousin of mine. It was a horrible. That's why the Afroman song, I can really relate to that.
Yeah, and then I got high. I saw a report on TV, speaking of Afroman, and they said that, a lot of people are against the Afroman song because they feel it's gone too far. It's too pro-drug, but I see it as an anti-drug song.
Yeah.
It's definitely an anti-drug.
Yeah, I even brought it home to my kids last night. I said, hey, listen to this song. It's great. Then I forgot it had the word pussy in it and jack off.
Forget that.
Yeah. I didn't realize pussy and jack off were in there, but I forgot that I had the bleep version.
Right.
So I was a little annoyed with that, but...
Forget that part, kids.
Yeah, but they don't care.
The main gist of the story.
My kids listen to all kind of rap music and all kind of...
You just don't necessarily want to listen to it with them.
Yeah, I didn't get embarrassed or anything. It was just, I said, oh, I forgot that's in there, but you've heard that before.
Yeah, you think, well, I guess I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I should be turning you on to Afroman, but I just think the song is so funny, and I thought it was anti-drug. I said... Yeah,
you're going to be productive, but then you get high.
It's the guy's true life story, because I said to him, how's your wife and kid? He goes, I got high. For real. I lost my wife and kids. I got high.
I heard that yesterday. You could tell that guy really, he's not... he's the real deal, man.
Yeah, he's not having a picnic.
Well,
he got high.
That's the greatest song, because he said, I sat down and I wrote the truth, because I realized my whole life was gone because I got high.
Howard Stern don't care about nothing, man. Hell yeah. Go get another pretty woman, man. What my background singing? They got high. I like them, though. Keep singing, homies. Yeah. Let me tell you about Howard Stern, man. Talk about it. What's that? His father used to yell at him until he would cry. Sounds familiar. His words would shrink Howard's nuts. He won't deny. Oh, look at that. He grew up a nutty mess, worse than Mariah. Yeah, now we know why. Why? He wants to die. He's an angry guy. He used to live with blacks. They would beat his high. That really sounds familiar. They'd steal his pants and shoes and beat his high. You know, but nothing's worse than divorce. Yeah. And lawyers are why. His cash went bye-bye. It went bye-bye. it went bye-bye.
It sure did.
He was married for 21 years, but it went awry, you know. He sees his bank account, he wants to cry.
I got the napkins, I ain't even got a
His
second.
money is cut in half, and he knows why.
Why?
Yeah, because he's a guy. Because he's a guy.
So true,
because he's a
Afroman.
guy.
Afroman speaks the truth.
Mrs. Java, his dog, and he wants to cry. He's stuck with a broke-down Jeep. The gas tank is dry. He lost his porn collection. The lawyers are wild. Yeah, because he's a guy.
Lost his porn collection.
Because he's a guy. Because he's a guy. Is that the one with Jenna Jameson on me?
It's a theme song to Private Parts 2 right here.
There you go.
It's gonna be alright, man.
Nice. He cut that yesterday before he left, Afroman.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he's good.
But he got high. That's why.
But he got high. But he got high. But he got high.
I got one more rehab question for Artie. How come some people that go to rehab like get to do some stuff but not other stuff? Like people who go in for cocaine, how come they still drink and stuff?
Well, you're not supposed to do anything.
Yeah, he's drinking because he's off the charts.
I say, like, that's the thing. Show
He's got to do
business,
something.
show business clean. That's what, like, showbiz people, you always read they're sober and stuff, and then they're drunk somewhere.
Yeah. Like Artie will go to the track, and you'll drink like a whole, what a bottle of what?
Bourbon.
Again, I deny that. But.
Wild turkey, was it?
But, like, I have a friend.
Out of a paper bag, no less. He's really...
That's being respectful to the other, betters at the track.
Yeah, why do guys do that? They have their paper bag.
The paper bag.
I don't know. It's a law, I think.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have an open bottle being seen, so it could theoretically be soda.
Right. I love that at the track. Everyone has their bag.
You want to feel good about yourself, go to the track on a weekday afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, what about the gambling, Artie? I mean, you really...
No, but I don't gamble like... The biggest thing that killed me was gambling with a bookie because you don't have to put money down. You just call a guy.
Right.
Just call a guy and go...
Now you put money down.
Right, you got to...
you got to have the money in order to gamble.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Howard, I knew a guy who went to rehab for cocaine twice.
Yeah.
And drinking wasn't even his problem. He's not even allowed to go to any place like a restaurant and drink carbonated drinks.
Why?
Because
that triggers it?
Carbonated drinks are potential mixers, and they don't even want to get that whole thing started.
Wow.
Imagine being that out of control.
If you taste the mixer.
A potential mixer.
You might go and have a drink.
Oh.
You know what you get in rehab when you're in one of those groups with 12 people and everyone's telling these crazy stories? You look around, you can't help but think this would have been a great party like a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't even seem to understand the show. You just ruin everything. You got to be funny in here.
I can't wait for you guys to see this on Howard TV.
Daily shows, classics, and exclusive behind-the-scenes access.
Well, that's going to be on Howard TV.
The funniest, sexiest, most star-studded network on TV is Howard TV On Demand.
What happens when Howard Stern's staff asks him the questions they've always wanted answered? It's time to Ask Howard with Rachel Fine.
All right, Howard, you ready?
Am I ready? Yes. This is a new feature we're doing. This is called Ask Howard. This whole feature came out of the fact that I don't want to blog. I said to Jason, I'm going to blog on our website, howardstern.com. And whenever I sit down, I go, oh, I don't have time for this. So Jason goes, we'll ask you questions. And then Doug Goodstein said, well, why not put them on Howard TV? And so thus Ask Howard. That's how this all evolved.
Well, I'm excited.
But I'm ready for Ask Howard.
All right. Question from Howard 100 News reporter John Lieberman.
If you could interview one person, dead or alive, whom you've never interviewed before, who would you choose and why?
Well, I've said this before. To me, with interviewing, I like interviewing anyone that interests me. So
but off the top of my head, it's usually like rock stars, because I idolize rock stars. If I idolize anyone, it's rock stars. Mick Jagger. I'd like to sit down and do a David Bowie interview. I don't know how interesting they'd be. Like Steven Tyler's so good because he's so open. But I think I could open those guys up and get something interesting out of them anyway. So maybe those guys.
Question from J.D. Harmeyer. He asks,
what's the most surreal moment or moments you've experienced as a celebrity?
In terms of a surreal moment, I guess it would have to do with either me being in the room with somebody I worshipped as a kid. Like, it was surreal for me. The very first interview I think I ever did on radio of a celebrity was Soupy Sales. And I know for fans of the show that sounds weird, because I was not nice to Soupy when we worked at NBC together. And that is one of my biggest regrets. I acted like a jealous asshole, and I should have been more supportive. And I did apologize to him later on, but it wasn't enough. And I do feel bad about that, because Soupy was my hero growing up. I loved his show. I loved the characters popping in. I was a little boy, and I worshipped Soupy. And he was the first guy to ever come on my show when I was in Washington, D.C., and do a celebrity interview kind of thing. I had interviewed a couple of rock stars like Billy Squier and stuff in Detroit, but I remember Soupy as being a regret. And so it was surreal the first time I was there with him. I couldn't imagine that this guy was talking to me. Another surreal moment was palling around with Don Rickles at Jimmy Kimmel's house. Like, that was weird. And then I got to go to a dinner party with Don Rickles in the same weekend. We were hanging out, and Don Rickles was like God to me. Don Rickles was more important to me in terms of the education I received about going on talk shows, I watched talk shows like those people were my friends. I didn't have any friends, so I'd watch them. And I'd watch Mike Douglas or Merv Griffin and see Don Rickles or Jackie Leonard. These are names like some people won't even know, like Toady Fields. Like, they were great talk show guests. And those are the people I remember. So palling around with Don Rickles and him, saying my name, Howard, was very unusual for me. And maybe the final answer would be making a movie of my life. That was insane. And I don't think I was caught up in it at the time, but now that I look back, that's pretty big stuff. To get to do that in my lifetime is crazy. And, on a personal level, everyone will always tell you having kids. That's kind of unbelievable that, wow, there's a kid that I somehow helped to produce,
Question from Mike Ganji at Howard TV.
When you open up the mic each day, can you describe what that feeling is like when you first go on the air?
Thank you, Rachel. Great job, and I appreciate you getting dressed up today for this.
Just for you.
The only staff member who dresses up for anything.
You don't even seem to understand the show. You just ruin everything. You got to be funny in here. I can't wait for you guys to see this on Howard TV.
Daily shows, classics, and exclusive behind-the-scenes access.
Well, that's going to be on Howard TV.
The funniest, sexiest, most star-studded network on TV is Howard TV On Demand.
John was just pointing out that for the Kimmel wedding, that it's a short article and you did make the cut, considering the celebrities that were there.
Yeah, right, but I wasn't photographed. Do you know there were paparazzi hiding in the bushes?
First of all, where was it?
In Ojai, in Ojai, California, in a place called like the Ojai.
I don't even know where. Is it Ojai in LA?
It's an hour away from Santa Barbara.
Holy shit!
How involved is it getting in the, like hiding in the bushes? Is it like
unbelievably? I don't even know how the fuck they did it. It's a private resort. It's crazy.
I, of course, was at the Jimmy Kimmel wedding extravaganza over the weekend.
How was that? I have been waiting with bated breath to find out what that was like.
It was beautiful, first of all. I mean, you know, I'm so fond of Jimmy and Molly that I was really
happy. You were
happy
happy to see them take their vows, that walk down the aisle.
And it was fun. I mean, I was kind of like annoyed that I left Friday morning and I had to come back Sunday morning. And you know me, I don't travel well. And I'm always exhausted. And so, like, the whole day Sunday was gone. And the whole day Friday was gone.
Wait a minute, but why did you leave on Friday? You could have made it a longer trip.
Oh, well, what am I going to do there? I mean,
what do you do here? Lay around?
No, but I mean, I had stuff to do in New York, and then Friday was the day before, Saturday was the wedding, so I left Friday. You know what I mean? I'm
just saying that you did have the time to lengthen it so that it wasn't such a quick turnaround.
No, that would have annoyed the shit out of me. What am I going to do? Like I hate being in hotels, but this was a nice place. It was in Ojai, California, wherever that was. I had no idea where I was.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Yeah, we landed in Santa Barbara, and then took
so
about
it's up north. Okay.
Yeah, and then took an hour. Is that where that is?
Yeah, that's above L.A.
I thought north was Alaska.
Well, if you keep going.
Yeah. You mean if I go north from there, I'll hit Alaska?
Eventually.
Wow, cool. I should have done that because I went for a run. I didn't realize. I'm going to run to Alaska. I'll be back. And, it was about 300 people, and Friday night was a big barbecue.
Uh-huh.
In a barn. And that was a casual kind of thing. Like, I didn't know what to wear. Like, my wife always knows what to wear, and I had to figure out what to wear. So I wore, like, what did I wear to the barbecue? Like jeans and, like, a T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you do at a barbecue in a ranch? Do you have to dress up like a cowboy? Or?
It was, like, country music, like guys in cowboy hats and...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jimmy and Molly got dressed up, but Jimmy was...
to wear a lariat?
Well, Jimmy was wearing a white silk pants with a white vest and a white shirt. He looked like a tattoo from Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I could tell Jimmy didn't dress himself like someone got a hold of him.
Somebody did that for him?
Yeah. Wasn't used to seeing Jimmy like that.
Yeah, silk pants.
Yeah, he was real happy. It was really cool. And, this is a private resort where, and they had the whole resort, booked up.
Booked? Uh-huh.
Yeah, with all their guests. And
so you stayed there and the wedding was there?
Well, you got to hear this. The paparazzi were very interested in getting pictures of this wedding because I think my theory is because Jennifer Aniston was there. And Jennifer Aniston, that girl, I don't know how she functions in her life because... everywhere she goes, For some reason, they want pictures of her, candid pictures of her. And, I mean, like, they go berserk. I was talking to one of the security guys, and he said to me, yeah, we've had a couple incidents already with paparazzi. I go, what do you mean? Well, like how do they get onto the property? He goes, what they do is they book rooms, other people book rooms, and then sell them to the paparazzi.
Oh.
Yeah, so they had already picked off 2 or 3. But sure enough...
Who in the world knows that's a business?
Oh, my God, it's a whole business. They must pay a lot of money for these pictures, because I should have taken some pictures. Because Jimmy wrote, no social media, no picture taking.
Did they collect your phone?
No, but I was glad he put that, because everyone with these phones, they drive you fucking nuts. So, of course, right after the wedding, there are the pictures. These guys were hiding in the bushes on the property. I don't even know how they do it. They should be in the military. They should be in the military. I mean,
this is why we can't find out what the terrorists are doing. They're busy finding out what Jennifer Aniston is doing.
I'm telling you. I don't even know. I mean, I was there. I don't know how these guys... You had to take a trolley. Like, there was, like, little trolley cars set up on the property to get to each event. And they had pictures, that, like, within an hour of Jennifer Aniston on the trolley car. And this one and that one. It was unbelievable.
Wouldn't it be funny at the end of all of this if you found out Jennifer Aniston hired these people herself?
That would make sense, because it's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it.
But that's a business out in Hollywood.
Just following Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was quite... You know who I love who was there? Andy Richter. I love that fucking guy.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you discover you loved Andy?
I love him. You know when I discovered? I went back to my room. I go, I love Andy Richter. I did. It was so funny. I walked out. I got a free lunch at this place, believe it or not. My wife and I were going to go for a run, and then we wanted to lock our stuff up in the safe in the room, in the hotel safe. Whatever it is, in your room. They have a little room safe.
Right.
Both safes in the room didn't lock. So I call up the security guy. I go, hey, I can't lock up my shit. Put my wallet and stuff in there. So they come up. For an hour, they're in my room with me, trying to get these safes to work. They finally do, and the guy says, hey, I want to offer you a free lunch because we took up an hour of your time. I was like, oh, you don't have to do that. Meanwhile, I'm such an asshole. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have to do that? I was like, yeah, of course he should. I was arguing with myself. I try to be a sport, and I go, you don't have to do that. And I was like, fuck, I just spent an hour with security trying to get this stupid safe to work. Of course I deserve a free lunch.
Yeah, how about just saying thank you? That's a nice gesture.
I don't know.
For taking up my time.
Yeah, you're right, but I didn't... But the guy insisted, and then I said, okay. So we went for a run, and then we went to lunch. And Beth orders a smoothie. I go, we're getting a free lunch. Should order everything on the menu. I was in full diet mode, so I just ordered, like, grilled salmon and nothing else. I lost 15 pounds.
On the break?
Well,
or
yeah,
that,
like
that meal.
My whole diet kicked in, like over the break, and I worked out a bunch, and I did. I dropped 15 pounds. I could fit into my suit to go to Jimmy's wedding.
Good.
Oh, my God. I was so pleased with myself. I'm so disgusting. And I'm walking around like I was at the pool with my shirt off because I'm thinking I'm looking so good.
Did the paparazzi catch you?
No. You know what? I thought we were paparazzi safe, so I was like walking around. I didn't care. I had my balls out. But... I didn't know that the paparazzi really were there. I was like, wow, this place is pretty, safe and secure. But Andy Richter is funny. And I saw J.J. Abrams, of course, the great director.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on the new Star Wars. I was asking him about that. Did you get any... Yeah, I did get a little.
Secrets?
Yeah. I put in my 2 cents.
You told him what you would like to see?
Yeah, I said, I like C-3PO. Bring him back. Let's see C-3PO. Yeah, I don't know. I put it. I don't even. JJ's amazing. I wouldn't even know where to begin, like making a new Star Wars. Like that wouldn't even interest me because I'm not even sure where to begin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a mess.
It's a mess.
What do you do with it?
Yeah, how do you straighten out that whole situation? It's such a fucking mess. Well, he straightened it out with Star Trek because I thought that was a mess too, and he kind of came up with something new.
Yeah, but at least it was only the TV show that had become a mess. It wasn't the movie.
Oh, my God.
The whole Star Wars thing is a mess.
I had a real good table at the wedding, too.
How do you tell if you have a good table?
Oh, you can tell. Oh, some people have bad tables. I had a good table. Here's who I was at my table. Bob Iger and his wife, Willow.
Okay.
Who, of course, runs Disney. He's a powerful guy. And that's good. Because, if I'm going to be there, I might as well talk to some powerful people. You want to have
a power guy at your table.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy, too. He seems to be. Brad Gray, the head of Paramount Pictures.
That's a big guy, too.
Yeah, I wish I'd had a few projects. I could have sold them while I was there.
You could have pitched at this table.
I was like, hey, I should be pitching these guys. So yeah, to the left of me was Bob Iger and his wife. Let's see who else was Johnny Knoxville and his beautiful wife Naomi.
Well, that seems like a sharp left turn.
Yeah, I know. I go, Johnny, don't embarrass us. Some big shots here. Don't don't start to taking your balls and whacking the food with it or something.
Right.
Yeah. Johnny was there. I never know what to call Johnny Knoxville because everyone who knows him calls him PJ or something like JP or PJ. Like he has some sort of other name.
Right.
Like Andy Richter calls him PJ. He goes, hey, PJ. And I'm like, wow, I'm the only one who calls him Johnny. I must be like a dickhead because it's like calling Bozo the Clown Bozo when instead of Larry Harmon.
Yeah, you're not in the inner circle.
Yeah,
you don't know Bozo is really Larry.
Hey, Bozo, how you doing? My name's Larry, all right? I don't have the wig on right now. So evidently Johnny's name is only Johnny when he's doing
his professional name.
When he's getting hit by a truck.
Yeah.
I heard Don Rickles once go up to Johnny Knoxville and go, why don't you leave? Why don't you go out and get hit by a truck and do what you do best? So it's Johnny Knoxville's name is like PJ. Oh, yeah. Here's a note. Johnny's real name is Philip John, so it's PJ. So I guess I should be calling him PJ, but I don't know how to make that move. I don't know.
Well, he's never told you to call him PJ. I wonder what the move is.
I don't know, but there seems like Andy Richter doesn't know Johnny Knoxville that well, and he's calling him PJ. And I hear everyone, hey, PJ.
But why would you know it's PJ?
I don't know.
Somebody has to tell somebody.
So I go, Johnny. But evidently that's shows that you're not really a friend. And I mean, we're pretty friendly, Johnny and I. Or
you
PJ.
Didn't drink the moonshine. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, PJ.
When you drink the moonshine, you get to call him PJ.
Yeah. And the whole resort was transformed into a Jimmy and Molly thing because there was a bar and it was called Jimmy's Bar.
Oh, so for the night, it's Jimmy's place.
And you wouldn't believe this. I get to this resort in Ojai. I forget the name of it. Very nice place, gorgeous. And I get there for the wedding and everything. And the guy says, your room isn't ready, Mr. Stern. I go, oh, fuck, not one of those situations. Where you got to sit around and wait. And he goes,
right, well, you really don't get to check in until 3 o'clock.
Yeah. I left super early in the morning. I was figuring I could take a power nap and then be all set for Friday night for the big festivities, for the big barbecue. So now this guy's fucking with me because I've got it all worked out that I'm going to get to California early, take a nap, and be all set up. Maybe even get
now you don't have a room.
Now I don't have a room. They go, oh, well, Mr. Stern, we can give you a different room, but, then you can't unpack or anything.
Yeah, because they're going to give you a holding room just to wait for your real room?
I even looked at the guy and go, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm the wrong guy to do it. I have a radio show. The rest of these dweebs don't. You can make them wait, but don't make me wait. It made no difference, though. I tried to throw my weight around. It didn't matter.
No weight.
No, I had a weight, so I'm just standing there.
You lost 15 pounds. You had no weight.
I'm standing there, and then Beth goes, oh, I forgot my sunglasses, so we had to go buy a pair of sunglasses. And then I walk out, and Jimmy's in a golf cart driving around. He goes, oh, I heard you had to wait for your room. Let's drive around and look over the resort while you're waiting. Which was really good of him. I mean, I figured the guy's busy with his wedding, but...
Right, now he's your tour guide.
Yeah, but he wanted to show me around. So I get in the golf cart, and I'm in a golf cart at a golf resort, essentially, and I said, what the fuck is with all this golf? I mean,
they have actual special conveyances for it.
Yeah, I said, I've got to be missing out on something with this golf because, there's this place was like 800 acres of golf. And if they're filling up this place constantly with golfers, there's got to be something to it.
There's whole places where people buy a home off the golf course.
Yeah, because they have to be near golf at every minute.
Yeah.
So we're driving around and we're looking around. There's really not that much to see. Jimmy showed me where the pool is and this and that. And I said, what's over there? He goes, oh, that's the driving range. I said, let's hit some balls. Now, I've never hit any balls in my life.
Do they have clubs that'll fit you?
It wouldn't matter because I wouldn't know how to hold the club anyway. I use a club for hitting people over the head. That was a perfect size. So Jimmy pulls over, and it's me, Jimmy, and Beth, and we get out, and the guy gets we get a bunch of bags of balls, and they give me a driver. Is that what it's called, a driver?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're going to drive the ball.
Yeah, I guess it's a driver. I don't know. Now I'm like, what did I get myself into? Because I'm going to look like a douche. I've never hit a ball before, and even though I announced to everyone. First, I get out of the car and I go, my room isn't ready. I announced it to anybody I saw that my room wasn't ready. Then I announced, I've never golfed before. And it's not like me to try anything athletic. You know that. I'm not looking for any new challenges or to humiliate myself. I get humiliated enough in life. But we went down there and I said, Jimmy, let me see you do it. And he did, and he took a swing and he hit the ball.
Did he know the stance and everything? He knew the grip?
Yeah, but Jimmy wasn't really teaching me anything. You know what I mean? Like, he could have said, hey, this is what you do. I go, Jimmy, how do you even hold the club? So then I go, Robin, I whacked this ball over 300 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
To the furthest flag. Jimmy goes, wow, that's a pretty good ball. Now, normally...
That's Tiger Woods and better.
Yeah. What?
Scott DePace just hit me on the speaker. He goes, I'm calling bullshit.
Scott, here's the problem. Beth was videotaping it. I got it on video. I got it on my iPhone.
Yards? I can't hit it 300 yards.
Call Jimmy. I hit it over... So I said, well, that's just beginner's luck. Well, they put down one ball after another, and I didn't hit every ball 300 yards, but I'm telling you, I hit 25% of my balls 300 yards.
What are you doing sitting here? We got to get you as a professional golf.
So they call over the pro. I said, you got to watch me. I stopped everybody. There was even some guy there, like he looked like he was a pro. I said, you got to watch me hit this fucking ball. I think I'm an idiot savant.
He just won the U.S. Open.
No, you're just an idiot, he said. No, I said, this is unbelievable. And I'm whacking balls, and now I'm going whacking balls crazy.
Now you're loving golf.
You know what, though? I said, there's no way I'll ever be able to do this again. Like, I'd go out on a course with a bunch of guys and probably miss the ball 57 times. And not only was I whacking the ball 300 yards, I didn't even know. I put the tee all the way into the ground.
Yes. You didn't even have it sitting up?
No, the tee's supposed to be sitting up. Jimmy didn't even tell me that. I said, Jimmy, I go, what's with this tee? He goes, oh, no, you gotta... And once I put it up, then I was really fucking hitting the ball.
Wow.
It ain't that hard. But then someone explained to me, it isn't the driving that's hard. It's when you get to the hole to get it in the
accuracy.
Yeah. Even Jimmy was like, shit, I can't hit it that far. And he goes, man, your accuracy was like, I was right near the hole.
Wow.
But I wasn't really aiming. I just addressed the ball, go, hello, ball, and then I just hit it. So evidently I'm like the world's greatest golfer.
Apparently, Howard, what I'm getting from the office is they want to see the video.
Gary, come here. You got to see this. I don't know. I would release this. I would put this on the web, actually. But I don't know what Jimmy's talking about. Like, you know how like Jimmy's in the background talking to Beth. I just want to make sure it's nothing confidential.
You should...
Here, wait. I got my phone. I know. This is unbelievable.
You should,
wait, what?
You should let DePace watch it, just because, I'll look at it, too, but he's the...
And you won't know what...
Listen,
no, I do,
lying.
I know.
You can ask my wife.
300 yards is, Howard, it's a ridiculous amount.
I hit the yellow flag. It's over 300 yards. 300 yards, and not just once.
He wants to see it.
What do you want from me? Wait, let me get... It's going to take me a while to get it. Don't get too anxious.
300 yards is like... You know what it's like saying? It's like saying, I went down to Citi Field yesterday, and I was taking batting practice, and I hit one into the upper deck.
What can I tell you?
Right?
Ask Jimmy. I only have one of my... Here, wait, this is one of them. I think this is it. Let me make sure. Oh.
The next day, it said, "Move over, Charles Barkley. You're no longer the worst celebrity."
All right, wait. That's Jimmy talking to Beth. And Beth's taping me. Here, come here. Get over here. You got to see this, DePace. Come in. Watch me fucking drive. You're not going to believe this shit. Watch this.
Poor posture.
Yeah. What do you want from me? First of all...
Look, wait till you see him.
First of all, I'm 6'5", and the little stick that you hit shit with is too goddamn small for me. I gotta
That's
get.
what I said. I didn't think they'd have a club that would fit you.
I got to get my own fucking clubs. Like Mark Consuelos has his own clubs. He had them shipped down there for the weekend.
He's wearing all black on the golf course.
Yeah,
too,
dude, I just stepped off a plane.
my
What do you want from me? I didn't have any clothes with me. My
Scott, just see the shine. All right.
Fucking
It's
dick.
grass. What are you supposed to dress for grass?
The next day, it said, "Move over, Charles Barkley. You're no longer the worst celebrity."
Oh, stop it. That's hilarious.
That's pretty good.
Down there is the yellow flags. I hit 300 yards, and I hit it 20 times in a row.
That's not
I got that on video.
That's a,
Yeah.
What?
Tweet that, I said. You wouldn't believe it.
That's pretty good, man. At least you hit the ball.
Hit the ball. I'm telling you, it's nothing for me. I'm like fucking Tiger Woods. I'm Tiger Woods.
What I'm saying is, like, remember when Tiger Woods was 4 years old and everybody was going crazy about what kind of golfer he was going to be? They should be doing the same for you now.
Yeah, but my father ignored me. Tiger Woods' father paid attention to him. I'm telling you.
So now you know how fun it is.
But Scott, was that 300 yards?
No, there's no way that's 300 yards.
It's not. I don't even know what 300 yards means. The guys were telling me I was hitting it out to the yellow flag. I go, how far is that? They go, 300 yards. Jimmy goes, yeah. And then I did it again because nobody believed it.
300 yards is the line of you're a great golfer.
I'm a professional golfer.
I would say that's about 200.
Dude, they mark it off. I'm not telling you. I'm not making up the 300 yards. This is what they mark it off. The yellow flag is 300. The purple flag is 200. The shitty flag is like a black flag that's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Good job, man. That's all. It's hard to even touch the ball when you're a beginner. That's good stuff.
Yeah. That's it. I'm retired now.
Come on, let's go play.
You know what? I could never do better than that.
You don't understand the camaraderie, all the fun. You hang out for 18 holes.
But I want to win.
Yeah, I do too.
So like I'll never be able to do that again. That's got to be beginner's luck, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should actually try to play one game. Suppose you are the world's greatest golfer.
I know. What if I am?
And the only reason we don't know it is because you would never play a game.
It's true. Who knows? I might be the world's greatest pianist, too. We just don't know yet. I won't try.
Don't you think it'd be fun hanging out with me for 18 holes? Come on.
I actually enjoy your company.
Let's go do it.
Yeah. All right.
Have you really ever spent time with him?
Yeah, actually I have. Spent the whole weekend with him. We had a good time.
You weren't alone.
No, I had other... Are you crazy? I had other people there. I'm going to be alone with them.
Golf might be alone.
But anyway, this guy doesn't... What do you mean there's no way you hit a golf ball 300 yards? I know I did because everyone was there. And I got it on tape.
You hit it off the grass and without a tee?
No. I had a tee. I didn't know how to put I didn't realize the tee sticks up all the way. Like I had it pushed all the way into the ground.
Will you put it on Twitter or something so we can all see it?
All right.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Hey, please. Jason, if I send it to you, can you... I don't even know, but I don't know what Jimmy's talking about in the front of that video.
He's just telling a story about Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley, but I don't know. Is that something that he...
Charles Barkley is notorious for being a terrible golfer.
Right. Charles had a show where he did like a 20-week show to fix his swing on the Golf Channel.
Do me a favor, Gary. Just listen to the dialogue before you put this on the web and make sure that Beth and Jimmy aren't saying something.
Just take the audio out if need be, but I'll listen.
Here, I'll forward this to you. Forward all. Include. Baba Booey. Gary Delabate. That's his real name. Yeah, all right.
Well, that's because you're in the inner circle. You know his real name. You
don't
have
right.
to call him Baba Booey. His professional name.
Oh, there I am, Robin. There's my. Oh, so Robin can see my swing. Look, whack, 300 yards.
Like I said, it's a loss to golf.
Robin, you see
that you won't pursue this.
You see all those brown spots on the lawn? Those are all the balls I missed.
Is it safe to say you've been waiting for this discussion the entire time you've worked here? I mean, this is such a passion of yours.
It's safe to say that I have said what a great job this is, but how much better it would be if Howard were into golf, just playing all the time, all the access we would have. But no, he's never been into it. In fact, he belittles it.
Describe what you saw, really, now that you're out of the studio. Was it pretty bad?
I saw, poor posture. I saw a guy wearing all black on a golf course and sort of a limp-wristed type, look. He was sort of like this, and then he went up a little stiff, but then he hit the ball real crisp. It was real solid. So
he was at least striking the ball well, because a lot of times you top the ball or or
I would guess that he would miss it, top it, whatever. Like you do that a lot.
Completely. I'm in my own head times a million. So once the beginner's luck and you start actually thinking about what you're doing, that's when the trouble hits.
He'd be miserable if we actually went. It would, the first hole he'd miss it and he'd be like, fuck this.
Do you think that day will ever happen?
I hope it does. I hope. If there's one thing he could give me, it would be a nice round of golf. That would be a really special day.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, everyone keeps asking me about the Trayvon Martin case, and I was shocked by the verdict, actually. I don't understand the laws down in Florida. My feeling all along was this, with this thing. The basis of my questioning was, everyone said, not everyone, this guy Zimmerman, and by the way, that's the most startling thing in this case. A Puerto Rican guy's name is Zimmerman.
Yeah, a Hispanic Zimmerman.
Yeah. I go, wait, how'd that happen? Never mind any other questions about who's guilty or innocent. Now someone ended up dead. His name is Zimmerman. And you go, oh, wow, this is a Jewish guy versus a black guy. No. They go, he's a Puerto Rican guy named Zimmerman. That guy. Fucked up world we live in. You can't tell what anybody is anymore.
And the point is, it doesn't really matter.
If I was a prosecutor, I'd come right out questioning even that. Sir, we need to know, how is your name Zimmerman and you're Puerto Rican? Anyway,
maybe that was the argument.
My take on this whole thing was, because everyone was asking me, what do you think is going to happen? I said, look, the bottom line is this. This guy Zimmerman claimed that this kid, Trayvon Martin, was suspicious. The question, what was so suspicious about this kid? He was black. I mean, what was he doing? He was walking down the street in a hoodie. And a lot of teenage kids, white and black, wear hoodies. So why was he suspicious? What is suspicious about Trayvon Martin?
It was the neighborhood, and Trayvon was black.
Right. That's it. End the case. There's no reason for this kid to be suspicious. I don't know. It seems really fucked up.
But that isn't the question as far as I'm concerned. The question is, was he supposed to engage with this kid at all? Why was he...
The cops told him not to.
Follow him around.
The cops told him not to.
Yeah.
And then the guy walks. I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. It was weird.
Yeah, they got some... I don't know what the jury heard.
Right.
You didn't sit in the courtroom. But they had, I remember a couple of days listening to testimony from some experts about, what Trayvon was doing at the time of the gunshot.
Yeah.
That they were tussling somehow, and Trayvon, one expert was indicating that Trayvon had to be attacking Zimmerman when the gun went off.
Well, I'm just convinced that, if I was the prosecuting attorney, I wouldn't, you know what I'm convinced of? These juries can't handle facts. They give them too much shit to think about. I just would get up there. I simplify everything. I just go like this. Look, I'm not going to waste your time here. One question. This guy Zimmerman says this kid's suspicious. He wasn't doing anything except walking through a neighborhood. What's so fucking suspicious? That's it. And then I would have said, okay, the prosecution rests.
But
I'd love to ask this guy Zimmerman. Why
he didn't take the stand?
No, of course not. Why do you think this kid was so suspicious? What did he do?
But it's not illegal to think someone's a suspicious person, Howard.
It should be. I don't know, man. It's weird. So, but look, I wasn't on the jury, but anything I saw was... That's the problem why I can't sit on a jury, because I already make up my mind within 3 minutes. No one can change my mind.
You don't have to hear the
No, I never have to. Testimony unnecessary. Let's get out of here. I pretty much know the answer before I start.
When Howard Stern's staff asks him the questions they've always wanted answered. It's time to Ask Howard with Rachel Fine.
All right, Howard, you ready?
Am I ready? Yes. This is a new feature we're doing. This is called Ask Howard. This whole feature came out of the fact that I don't want to blog. I said to Jason, I'm going to blog on our website, howardstern.com. And whenever I'd sit down, I go, oh, I don't have time for this. So Jason goes, we'll ask you questions. And then Doug Goodstein said, well, why not put him on Howard TV? And so thus Ask Howard. That's how this all evolved.
Well, I'm excited.
But I'm ready for Ask Howard.
All right. Question from Howard 100 News reporter John Lieberman.
If you could interview one person, dead or alive, whom you've never interviewed before, who would you choose and why?
Well, I've said this before. To me, with interviewing, I like interviewing anyone that interests me. So, but off the top of my head, it's usually like rock stars, because I idolize rock stars. If I idolize anyone, it's rock stars. Mick Jagger. I'd like to sit down and do a David Bowie interview. I don't know how interesting they'd be. Like Steven Tyler's so good because he's so open. But I think I could open those guys up and get something interesting out of them anyway. So maybe those guys.
Question from J.D. Harmeyer. He asks,
what's the most surreal moment or moments you've experienced as a celebrity?
In terms of a surreal moment, I guess it would have to do with either me being in the room with somebody I worshipped as a kid. Like, it was surreal for me. The very first interview I think I ever did on radio of a celebrity was Soupy Sales. And I know for fans of the show that sounds weird, because I was not nice to Soupy when we worked at NBC together. And that is one of my biggest regrets. I acted like a jealous asshole, and I should have been more supportive. And I did apologize to him later on, but it wasn't enough. And I do feel bad about that, because Soupy was my hero growing up. I loved his show. I loved the characters popping in. I was a little boy, and I worshipped Soupy. And he was the first guy to ever come on my show when I was in Washington, D.C., and do a celebrity interview kind of thing. I had interviewed a couple of rock stars like Billy Squier and stuff in Detroit, but I remember Soupy as being a regret. And so it was surreal the first time I was there with him. I couldn't imagine that this guy was talking to me. Another surreal moment was palling around with Don Rickles at Jimmy Kimmel's house. Like, that was weird. And then I got to go to a dinner party with Don Rickles in the same weekend. And we were hanging out. And Don Rickles was like God to me. Don Rickles was more important to me in terms of the education I received about going on talk shows, I watched talk shows like those people were my friends. I didn't have any friends, so I'd watch them. And I'd watch Mike Douglas or Merv Griffin and see Don Rickles or Jackie Leonard. These are names like some people won't even know, like Toady Fields. Like, they were great talk show guests. And those are the people I remember. So palling around with Don Rickles and him, like, you know, saying my name, Howard, was very unusual for me. And maybe the final answer would be making a movie of my life. That was insane. And I don't think I was caught up in it at the time, but now that I look back, that's pretty big stuff. To get to do that in my lifetime is crazy. And, you know, on a personal level, everyone will always tell you having kids. That's kind of unbelievable that, like, wow, there's a kid that I somehow helped to produce, you know.
Question from Mike Ganji at Howard TV.
When you open up the mic each day, can you describe what that feeling is like when you first go on the air?
At first in my career, it was dread. Like, I'm going to screw this up. I'm going to make a mistake. Something's going to go wrong, or I'm not good enough. Now when I open up the microphone, I'm really intrigued as to what I'm going to say. There is a basic outline that I do. I do a lot of prep before the show, believe it or not, at night. So I'm pretty well prepared, but I never know exactly where I'm going to go. And a lot of times that agenda will even come from a conversation I'm having with Gary. Literally, I'll be in the back reading a newspaper. I've got my whole agenda set in my head for the first 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll have a conversation with Gary, and whatever Gary leaves me with, I'll just pick up right then and there and start going.
Again, I don't know if you want to get into the vortex. We never talked about how Benji had a bit where you guys would lose weight, whoever lost, got to look at the other one naked for a minute.
But it's now kind of a blank feeling. It's like I'm calm, I put the microphone on, and I know what I have to do. And if everything's in place, especially if Robin is there and Fred is there, I'm fine. Like those two people in particular, because they've been with me the longest. And now we have a great team, too. I mean, like Benji sitting there is of great comfort to me. Gary being in place is of great comfort to me. And having everyone around, Sal, Richard, all those guys, even Ronnie, like, you know, you can pull him in, you know, if something's going on. But I've become a lot more calm. It used to be dread.
There's never a nervous butterfly kind of feeling?
Not anymore, no. Used to be, especially when I had to spin records. I lived in fear of that kind of radio show. I hated it. That's the thing that prompted me to stop playing music completely. I hated that aspect of, oh my God, if the records, there's dead air, and what if I have to go hit the commercials and they don't work, and what do I hated that. I hated that pressure.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to sit down. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Rachel. Great job, and I appreciate being dressed up today for this.
Just for you.
The only staff member who dresses up for anything.
Were you going to go over the notes now?
It's up to you.
Yeah, we might as well.
So he's interviewed every president. He's interviewed every president from Gerald Ford on.
What do you talk to Ronald Reagan about over at lunch? Like, do you talk pussy or do you? What do you do?
You're still banging, Jane.
Yeah, right.
You know, he was on Larry King Live on CNN for 25 years. Stopped in 2010. You know, he prided himself.
Killing him. I mean, because that was his whole life show.
And now the best part is the ratings are shittier than when.
Yeah, right. Well, that's kind of my first opening discussion. Right. I mean, it's a killer.
I wonder if they've ever, in any way, shape, or form, contacted him about the possibility of coming back.
All right, Larry King is here. Larry now has a show on Hulu and Aura.tv. I'll ask him about that. I'm not sure I even understand Aura.tv. Larry King was the host of Larry King Live for like 25 years or something crazy like that.
And
Started out
he
like
was on radio for even longer, right?
Larry King. Wow. Hi, Larry.
Never saw him out of a studio before.
I know. Hey, Larry, I said to Robin, how long did you host Larry King Live for? 25 years?
26. It turned out to be, it was supposed to be 25, but then when we parted ways, they told me to stay an extra year, so I stayed 26.
26-year run.
The longest, what is it? I got the Guinness thing. It's the longest running show hosted by one person at the same time on the same network.
Did you, you started out, they were paying you $200,000 a year. By the time you finished, you signed a $35 million contract for
4 years.
4 years. Did you ever think that it was going to work into that? Because when CNN started, and you first started there wasn't that much happening.
The story is, I started on their 5th anniversary. They went on June 1st, 1980, and I joined them June 1st, 1985. And I was doing my radio gig like you were in Washington.
Yeah.
And I had a real nice gig. I was doing my all-night radio show. It was all over the country. I had the first national network radio show, and I was very happy. I had a local television show on Channel 7.
Did you do both at first? Did you?
I always did both.
You always did both?
Yeah, always did both. So, and then Ted Turner calls me up. And I love working there. Nobody liked Ted. And he calls me up like on a Tuesday, and he says, Sandy Freeman's doing a show here from 9 to 10 at night. Her husband's breaking my back. He wants a raise, and he's our manager, and I'm going to shove it to him. You want to do the show? You want to take over 9 o'clock?
He called you himself?
Yeah, and you want to do the show next Monday? He had done my show a few times, so he knew my work. So I said, well, I don't know. I go to ball games. I got a local television show. I'm not married. It was Oddity Week.
Right. you were between marriages?
I'm not married.
Right. I want to have a life.
And CNN wasn't in Washington. You couldn't see him in Washington.
Right.
So I said, I don't know. So I said, all right, my agent, Bob Wolf, the late Bob Wolf, great guy.
You had that agent for how long?
Till he passed away. He passed away in 1993, I think.
When your agent dies and you've had that guy, the same guy, the whole career, do you trust anybody to be your agent after something like that?
You have to trust.
Right.
And I had some recommendations, but I had some nice people replace him. I stayed with his agency for a while. He had a big agency. And then I moved on to ICM. But anyway, so Bob comes back to me and says, listen, you're making $200,000 on the radio.
Right.
You're making, I think, $85,000 doing one television show a week. That's $285,000. You're single.
Go have a good time.
Do you want to do this? They're offering you $200,000, so you're going to double your pay.
Right.
But you'll miss your hockey games, your baseball games, because you got to be there at 9 o'clock. So he said, I worked a deal with Turner. They'll give you a 3-year deal, but the option is yours. At the end of the first year, you can get out.
Wow.
If you're unhappy. So give it a year.
Right.
Well, I tell you something, Howard, God's honest truth. I went on the first night. Mario Cuomo was the guest. I knew in 5 minutes.
You loved it.
I loved this shit. It was just there for me.
And then you gave up the radio show.
I gave up eventually. I did. Right. I gave up the local TV show. And
what was your life like doing? What were your hours when you did overnights? Was it midnight?
Midnight to 5:30.
Was that did that wreak havoc on your life?
Well, I was single. No, it didn't. I'll tell you why. The show was so fun to do. I would go in. We'd have great guests. People would come there midnight to 3 in the morning. And then they'd leave, and then from 3 to 5:30,
you take phone calls.
Open phone America on anything. So one guy could call about his girlfriend, another guy could call about the President of the United States, the next guy could call about the Boston Red Sox.
And wasn't it liberating because, fortunately, there wasn't like a lot of ratings information in terms of overnight, so you didn't have to sit there and kowtow to like the program
but
director.
We started with 28 stations, and when I ended it in 97, after I was just making too much on CNN, I didn't have to do both. I moved to California. You know, it was hard to. Yeah. We were on
Mutual Radio Network.
Yeah, almost 600 stations.
Wow.
Became Westwood One.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It was such fun. You know, of all the things I do, and I do print. I wrote for USA Today. I've written 16 books. I write for USA. I wrote for USA Today for 20 years. The television show was an enormous success. Radio was the favorite.
It was?
You know
More
what?
so than that CNN show?
Yeah. Personal to do?
Yeah.
Because one, it was the most personal, and two, I could explore all my talents. I couldn't be funny on CNN. I could be if I had a comic and I'd work off the comic. But basically, it was kind of mostly a serious show on radio.
You could have some fun.
You could do anything you want.
Right.
And
yeah.
People, and I always loved, I know you were the same way. I love your movie. Why is your movie not on HBO?
It pops up everywhere.
It comes from time to time.
Yeah, they should bring it back.
Yeah, they do. It's on all the time.
That was a
actually.
terrific film.
It was a fun. And you know what I liked about it? I when I did it, I made it very clear I had to make it representative of real radio stations that I'd actually worked at.
Anybody in radio knew it.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it real. There had been so many bad radio movies, like FM and stuff, where guys aren't even wearing headphones and stuff. I wanted it to be authentic.
Ivan Reitman loved working with you, and Ivan's a good friend of mine. He directed me in Ghostbusters, the first movie I was in.
Ivan's a great director. He was so brilliant that he would sit in a screening and go, "Oh no, you have to take a different take here, where you pick your head up and it's funny."
Oh yeah,
he knew what was funny.
He knew what was funny.
Yeah.
The only thing when we were making Ghostbusters, I was the first thing shot in Ghostbusters. Still, I think in the top 3 of comedy movies, gross.
Fantastic movie.
But so I was the first thing shot in New York. It's a funny story. I never been in a movie. I'm doing my show in Washington, my radio show. Wasn't on CNN yet. And they did it at 1440 Broadway, the old WOR studio. They had to run the wires all the way up to the 22nd floor. And I'm downstairs and sitting with Ivan.
Right.
And he says, I have no idea how this movie's going to do. I said, why? He says, Belushi died.
Right.
And Bill Murray has taken the role, but he's only taken on the grounds that he does Belushi's lines. He will not change a line.
Wow.
So every line Murray did in Ghostbusters 1 was written for Belushi.
Wow.
That was his tribute to Belushi.
Right.
So then he says to me, another thing I don't know, I've never done a gimmick movie, and there's ghosts in this movie running around, but I don't know what they look like. And I won't see that until the end. So he says, I'm going to have them shooting at the wall, and they don't know what they're shooting at.
Yeah, and they didn't do a lot of that back then. This was fairly innovative.
And so when it came out, the first time he saw ghosts was when the full print was done.
Wow.
That was really interesting.
And why do you think it's not better known, that story, that Bill Murray wouldn't change any of Belushi's lines? That seems
thought
pretty
it was
legendary.
well known.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't at all.
So anyway, another funny part of it is I get to New York, and they said a limo will pick you up, and I have a big stretch limo, and I'm in the back of the limo, and the guy driving the limo is not wearing a black uniform, a little black hat, but he's wearing like a pea coat and jeans, and he weighs like 240 pounds, and he looks back, and I had to say to him, I said, I haven't ridden in many limos, but you don't look like a limo driver. He said, well, I'm not, I'm with the Teamsters.
Yeah.
I says, yeah, and we got the contract for all mobile things, all mobile things connected with this here film. Right. So he says, so we do that. We drive in the people who are in the movie, and when you see the movie, there'll be a Ghostbuster truck. We drive the truck. We have the contract for every movie in New York. So I said to him, well, supposing I was producing a movie here, and I didn't use the Teamsters. And he turned around and goes,
You'll be with Jimmy Hoffa.
Good luck.
Yeah, we'll find out where you're buried in a few years. Speaking of movies, and this is totally off topic, do I have it right that you appeared or shot a movie with Paris Jackson recently?
No.
No?
They proposed a movie.
Right.
A very good series of books, children's books. It's about mermaids and people. It's a very good idea. Distributed in schools, has a good message. The writer who wrote it is a wonderful guy. And he sold this package deal that would star Paris Jackson as the star. Right. My wife was going to be the mermaid, and she can really sing. You know, Sean.
Yeah,
She's very good talent.
Yeah.
And I would be like the narrator, sort of. But it's never. All different deals have come forward. Now, Paris, at the time this was signed, Paris Jackson is 12,
right,
and looks 12.
Yeah, right.
Now she's 18, and she looks like she's on Hustler.
So you're right. So deal over.
Well, I guess they keep floating it around. I'll tell you, the movie business is the world's strangest business. Right. They get letters. The money will be in Thursday at 2. Right. The money can't come in due to the Patriot Act.
Right.
Why? Well, it's coming from China, and they have to look at it.
That's true.
The money will be in midnight at the bank in Utah.
It's still strange. Even the big studios get weird financing from all different types of people.
Who puts up Ted Turner? You want to hear a great Ted Turner story?
Yeah.
You love stories, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ted buys MGM from Kirk Kerkorian for whatever he paid for it. And he always wanted to own a movie studio. He's a kid, loved movies, loved Gone with the Wind. So he bought MGM. And he owns it for a month. And he realizes that they put all this budget into a movie. And at noon on Friday, you know if you're going to make money.
Yeah. And it's the worst gambling odds on the planet. You're better off in a casino.
So he says, this is a crazy business. I spend $40 million, and on Friday at noon, they tell me how I'm going to do to the penny. They don't. Right? So he said, I couldn't stand the business. So I go back to Kirk Kerkorian, and I said to him, can I sell the business back to you? I'm going to take it at a loss. Kirk made money. Okay, so he buys it back at a loss. As Ted is walking out the door, now Kirk is a great guy, Kirk Kerkorian. He owns hotels, he owns Vegas.
Very successful guy.
Very, and a great guy. He turns around, Ted, and he said, oh, by the way, Kirk, could I keep the movies, the old movies? And Kirk Carr says, sure, what am I going to do with old movies? Send me to hotel movies. That's Turner Classic Movies.
That's Turner Classics, yeah.
He got that for nothing.
Did you think Ted was a kook when he called you to offer you the job initially? No. Like, I mean, now we know he was a genius and all that stuff.
He's a how would I describe Ted? He's a manic depressive.
Right.
Takes lithium.
Right.
He's the most, I can't emphasize enough, most loyal person ever lived. If you work for Ted Turner, he stands by you.
Right.
So in other words, let's say you work Howard Stern with all the crazy things you do.
Yeah.
If he hired you and he knew what you were,
he'd back you up.
He wouldn't let a call go into the studio to you.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's Ted. Stand by him, he stands by you.
So do you feel betrayed by CNN? I mean, and also, how do you feel about, they give the show to Piers Morgan. You know.
Well, I'll tell you about the ending.
Yeah.
I had done 25 years, and I did that extra year for him. And I'd always had 4-year contracts.
Right.
I was the highest paid guy in cable. I had a real good deal.
Right.
And they came to me 3.5 years ago and said, you know, we're changing, you know, we're changing direction, or we're going a new way, or something, whatever they say.
Right.
So we're going to give you a 1-year contract. So I felt that was
a smack in the head.
Yeah, you know, you're getting 3 or 4 years, now they're going to give you a 1, but I was 73 years old, and 74, so I said, okay, I'll take the 1, and I worked the 1 more year and left. And
are you glad you did the 1 year, or should you have left?
No, I'm glad I did, because I love working. I love working there. I had a great deal. And then they gave me an extra 3-year contract, which just ends now. They gave me a nice piece of change to not be around.
Right.
Colin Powell told me a nice thing. I was driving to Atlantic City, and I was driving to Vegas, and my wife was going to meet me there. She was coming down from a home in Utah, and Colin called because I had announced it on the air the night before. And he says, you know something? This might apply to anybody. When the train gets to the last stop, get off.
Yeah, but here's my point. So they bring in Piers Morgan, which you were critical of, because you even said, I prefer if someone like Ryan Seacrest, you're
my
fond
recommendation
of him.
was Ryan Seacrest, only because this. I think...
Did Ryan Seacrest want the job?
I think he would have taken it. Right. Yeah, because that time Ryan was just beginning to burst, you know, producer and all. Right. But Ryan loves working. I think he would have taken it, yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, I had nothing against, I didn't know Piers Morgan. My suggestion about Ryan Seacrest was that if you're going to follow someone who, forget whether it was Larry King, if someone's been there a long, let's say Howard Stern.
Yes.
You leave in 10 years.
Right.
And someone's going to replace you. The best person to replace you would be someone well-known.
Right.
So that the person who sits in the chair is known to the public. Doesn't have to be the same style as you.
Right.
But it's a person.
Have a certain respect.
A certain ambiance. So let's say, okay, Howard Stern is leaving. We're doing a new kind of concept show. He'll be on the same hours. The replacement is Bob Costas. Costas is funny. You'll get a lot more sports. Well, now no one would say Costas is bad.
Right.
Okay, you're not going to slam him.
Right. So you think getting Piers Morgan, I mean, he was known from America's Got Talent.
But whoever steps in to someone who's been there, Sinatra told me this long ago, when you've been around for a long time, right? There's a lot to be said for longevity. Yeah. Never knock longevity. Somebody likes you. And when you leave, the toughest spot is the next guy.
Yes.
The guy who's in the best spot is the guy who replaces the next guy.
That's the truth. And do you think Piers should have embraced you or come and met with you and
He made a statement that's like following Sinatra.
Right.
The only rub, I didn't even have a rub. I don't dislike Piers. I've been on his show a couple of times. He's a nice guy. I don't do the show the way he does.
Do you check the ratings? Because the truth be told, your ratings were way higher than Piers.
I don't check them. I'm told that.
Right. Do you have satisfaction in that?
There's yes and no, because I like CNN a lot, and I like the people who run it.
But you don't lay down at night and go, ha, 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 they got rid of me.
My wife does.
Right, but you don't have those feelings at all?
I try, yeah.
You got to admit, you got to feel good when you leave. And the people who replace you can't do as well as you.
You don't put it this way. You don't feel terrible.
Right.
Okay.
But I think Piers, and I told him this. I know Piers, and I respect him and like him. But I said, you're miscalculating how difficult that time slot is. You're up against, ostensibly, Fox News, MSNBC. They're doing shows, political opinion shows, kind of like what Bob Grant did in the old days of radio. And they're doing this kind of Rush Limbaugh type of thing. If you're going on and doing straight celebrity interviews, that's a real tough time slot at 9 o'clock with everything you got to compete with.
So they've changed it a little. He's very opinionated. I never was.
Right.
I always left my ego at the door. You know, I try to ask who, what, where, when, why.
Yeah.
I was a different kind of journalism. I was more personality. I was funny. I don't think Pierce is funny. But I don't dislike him. It's just not my kind of broadcast.
Right.
You know, I gravitated toward
You don't watch it?
No.
You never will.
I'll turn it on. If I read a guest is on, then I'm interested in the guest. And then when he got into this gun thing, and then he was doing guns every night.
Right.
It might have been getting good numbers, but I don't like programming that is guns every night and guns every night and guns every night.
So you don't
but
listen...
I have nothing personally against him. In other words, I don't wish him to fail. No, I don't go around like that, Howard. Maybe you do.
I think I used to more in the old days. I was seething with anger and really...
I remember when I knew you back in we were both in Washington, right?
Yeah.
And you had an ability to hate.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Some guys can dislike.
Right.
Some guys can have anger.
No, I have real anger.
Hate.
Vicious hate.
And people you hated. Let's take Imus.
Right.
You hated Imus.
Yeah.
There was no, say it.
Yes.
I hated Imus.
I still do. I haven't lost that.
Now, look at all your success.
Right.
Yet you still have that little burning... I don't have that because I didn't know Pierce.
You ever been in therapy, psychiatry?
Short period of time long ago when I was only in my 20s and I was having difficulty still dealing with the death of my father.
Your father died when you were 9?
9.5.
9.5 years old. You never get over that.
You know, you don't. And the bad thing, Howard, in retrospect, this is true. My mother and father had lost their child before I was born. He was a 6-year-old boy. He died of a burst appendix.
Wow.
So my father really grappled me, took me, hugged me. You know, he took me to ball games.
You meant everything to him.
Everything.
Right.
Because he wanted a son. He had lost a son. I had another little brother who was raised kind of normal. You know, was equal with mother and father, but my father raptured me. I walked with police officers down the street.
Because he was so afraid something would happen.
Yeah, he made a little police uniform for me. Cops knew him because he owned a little bar and grill. He tried to enlist in World War II. He was a little over age. He was 45. Went to work in a defense plant, and one night he died.
Of what? Heart attack?
You know.
Yeah.
And when I got home, I was a real good student. I'm carrying home books from school. Cops were at the building. I still remember this. And we lived in a 3-floor walk up in Brooklyn, and these cops came downstairs. 2 of them were crying. They loved my father.
Right.
And this one cop picked me up and put me in a squad car and drove me around. He told me my father died.
Wow.
And I took it as leaving me.
Right.
I didn't understand death.
No. To a 9-year-old, my dad left me.
My dad left me.
Right.
Why did he leave me? I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't cry.
What do you mean you didn't go to the funeral? Your mother didn't force you to go to the funeral?
She didn't.
You said you didn't want to go, and they just let
I
that
said,
be.
I just do not want to go. What are you going to do? Drag me in a car? I won't go in a car.
Wow.
My brother went, and the family went.
It's pretty evolved of your mother not to drag you there anyway.
Yeah, and my mother raised me and my brother, and then her mother died 3 weeks later. It was a tough time for her. She never remarried. We were on relief for 2 years. You ever been poor?
Well, we weren't a wealthy family, no, but never on welfare.
I
Never
was on welfare 2 years. We call it relief.
Yeah, I read a story about you that to this day you will never wear wire-rimmed glasses because they used to give you free wire-rimmed glasses.
Now, my first pair of glasses was bought by the city of New York.
And that
New York
changed
is
you, right?
New York is still the most generous city in the world.
Absolutely.
New York, you don't need national welfare programs. New York will take care of you.
That's right.
If you're listening to this radio show now and you're down and out, you don't have to beg on the corner. You can go somewhere. They call it relief.
That's true.
And so New York City paid 75% of the rent.
Wow.
And gave us a living allowance. And when you had need, like my eyes were going bad.
So why
and they bought my first pair of glasses.
Why do you think you don't have the same anger I have? I mean, the anger is you felt left by your father. You have real father hunger. You wanted that attention from a man.
And it's made me a good father.
It has, because because in other words, you recognize how badly you want a father, and you do that for your kids.
Correct.
Is it how old are you now?
79.
How are you managing 10-year-olds? Aren't you fucking exhausted?
They're 14 and 13 now.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
They keep me young.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
how much involvement do you have? I mean, are you really...
Well, for example, I'm here in New York doing interviews for my Hulu show.
Yeah, Hulu's the network that...
the network is Aura.
Right.
The story is... I'll give you a quick story, and I'll tell you about the kids. Carlos Slim, the richest man in the world.
He's a Mexican guy who...
$76 billion.
And he made $76 billion because what? He owns cable and...
Telecom systems. He also owns Saks Fifth Avenue for a while. He owns 20% of the New York Times. He owns a lot of real estate. He's a wonderful guy. He's got 6 children, 3 boys, 3 girls. They're all grown. They all help each other. It's a wonderful family. I've been to Mexico City. Anyway, he invited me down to Mexico City to speak to he gives out scholarships every year. And I went down, did my shtick. I always talk funny. I have a lot of laughs. And then he drove me around in his car, and then he came to the United States. He went on my CNN show. We had dinner at the house. We had a great dinner.
Right.
I did it with Barry Bonds, Ernie Banks, the mayor, Sidney Poitier.
You love that.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan Seacrest had signed a $20 million deal that morning, and he had a funny line. Now he's with Carlos Slim, and at 8 o'clock that night he says, for 7-8 hours I thought I was rich.
Carlos Slim ruined it for him.
Ruined it.
So
anyway,
yeah.
he said, you got to do something. You can't retire. You got to do something.
Right.
And my wife Sean came up with the idea, well, why not the internet? It's the next big thing. Why don't we do a show? I have a little network on the internet. We'll do a Larry show, and we'll add other shows. And so Larry King Now started, and we hired John Houseman away from Murdoch at Fox, and he came over to run Aura TV.
So how do I get that Aura TV?
You get Apple TV hooked into your set, and you go to Hulu.
And then you're on with the Larry King Show.
Larry King Now, it's called. Every day.
An hour a night?
A half hour. And it's on in perpetuity. That is, you can watch every show we've ever done.
Right. Do you like doing that, or do you miss the action of being on CNN? I mean,
I miss the action when there's a big story.
Right.
I love doing this. I love doing, today we're doing Dwight Gooden. We're doing Rudy Giuliani and former Senator Lieberman.
You know what you got to ask Dwight Gooden about? I think I once read a story, something that when he was in prison, he was going to go to the shower, and everyone said to him, stay out of the shower today. Today's a real bad day to take a shower. And he's like, what the hell? The pipes must have burst. What are they doing? He didn't realize they were going in to rape a guy, and they were warning him, don't go in there because we're going to get you too.
It must be in the book.
Those prison stories are absolutely insane.
You want to hear a great prison joke?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You led me right into this.
All right, let's do it.
This guy's about to go to prison.
Okay.
And he's scared, He's saying to a friend, gee, I gotta go to prison, income tax. I'm very scared. He says, see that guy over there? Go over and talk to him. He just got out of San Quentin. Right. It might help. So he goes over. He says, you just got out of San Quentin? He says, yeah. I'm really scared. Can you help me? He says, oh, don't be scared. It's not all it's cracked up to be. He goes, you like good food? Yeah. Monday is Chef's Day at San Quentin. The top chefs from California come cook for the inmates and teach you recipes. You're going to love Monday. Tuesday, you like movies? Tuesday is movie day, the best. Bring you all new movies. Directors come. They tell you how they made the movie. You're going to love Tuesday. Wednesday, you like exercise? Oh, they bring in all the major exercise equipment, and fitness people come and teach you fitness. You're going to love Wednesday. Now, Thursday, are you gay? No? You're not going to like Thursday.
Thursday's a tough day. So you've got the kids now.
Well,
be
my wife
honest
and I-
with me.
yeah.
You have help, right? You're not
Oh,
sitting
we
at
have
home with kids.
we have a kind of a coach and a nanny, but I go to all their games.
A coach lives with you? What are you talking about? A coach and a nanny?
No. I have a nanny who's a lady who helps take care of them. There's a maid and a
Right.
lady. We live in Beverly Hills.
Right. So in other words, you're not sitting there watching kids all day.
No. However, in all activities, for example, I take them to school every morning.
Wow.
My wife and I go to PTA meetings. We meet with the teachers. The 14-year-old is going to Notre Dame High School, very good school, emphasizing baseball. He's a very good baseball player. They're playing already.
Is that important to you?
Yeah.
It
so
is.
when I
You love baseball.
I love baseball, and I love that he's good at it.
Right.
And he wants to play it.
Right.
So when I get back, he's not in school yet. They're playing with the Notre Dame
But
freshmen.
aren't you out of control? I read that you went to a game.
Don't ask.
And you got into a fight. You're one
Not
of
a
those
fist fight.
fathers. Yeah, but you started yelling with one of the...
I'll tell you what he did to me this ump.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, let's hear
It's
this.
the 6th inning.
Because, they tell every parent, calm down.
I'll tell you what they do in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
The kid slid into second. My son was a shortstop. He had second tag, and the umpire says safe, right?
Okay.
So I'm in the stands. I go, safe? How did you call safe? The whole world knew he was out. And he looked over at me, and all he said was, keep quiet, Mr. King. Keep quiet, umpire. I says, keep quiet? Keep quiet? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm passionate. That kid was safe. And then I did the stupidest thing. You are a moron.
Oh, my
And he
God.
said, I'm a moron. You're out of here. And he threw me out of the stands.
Were you ashamed of yourself? Or
I had to walk all the way out to left field,
The walk
out of
of
the
shame.
stadium, and sit in the car.
Yeah.
And my wife, the big backer of me, says, go, you deserve this. I go out through the field into the car and sat in the car, and friends called me and told me about the game.
Yeah.
I got thrown
Was
out.
your child embarrassed?
Yes, oh yeah.
They yell at you?
Every game I go to, both kids say to me, Dad, stop it.
Calm the fuck down.
Sit quiet.
Yeah.
Sit quiet. They don't even like if I say, like, they have a lot of privilege they have is they know all the ball players.
Right.
I take them, I have season tickets, so they go to Dodger games. Sometimes they go on the road with the Dodgers. They meet the players.
Right.
And my son, Chance especially, the 14-year-old, will say, don't tell him I'm a good player.
Right.
Don't say it.
Don't brag. Keep your
Another
mouth
thing
shut.
that drives me crazy, you might know about this, Howard. How old? Your girls are grown now.
Yeah, they're older.
These 14, 13-year-olds do not talk. They
text.
They text.
Yeah,
all-
my kids too. I mean, it drives me crazy. They only text me.
Chance had a girlfriend for 7 months. And I saw she was a very pretty girl. I said, do you talk a lot? Oh, they broke up. But he said, we talk every day. 10, 12, 13 times a day. Wow, must be a lot. Picking up the phone. No, we don't talk.
Right. It's weird.
Text. They broke up texting.
Meanwhile,
So he didn't know her. He didn't know nothing about her.
You're not even sure they were in the same room every
I
day.
don't text.
Right.
I'll show you a phenomenal thing about me.
You don't text?
I'm on the internet.
Right.
I'm paving the way.
Do you have a
On the
phone?
Yes, I do, but...
Oh, you
a-
have old school.
A flip phone.
Oh, my God.
Now, here's
Oh, my
the-
God, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was in the Apple store. My wife was in the Apple store. You know what I noticed about the Apple store? There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
jammed.
Right.
Meaning something's wrong. Something's
Why are
going
they
wrong.
hanging out so much?
And one guy came over to me and said, where did you get that phone?
They were jealous of your phone.
Jealous of my... I love that
Well,
phone.
why won't you get an iPhone? Why won't you
Because I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a freaking disease. I watch
You sound
people-
like my mother.
I watch people with iPhones. I go to dinner with 3 friends.
Right.
We go
They're all
to
on.
I'm eating alone.
I know.
They're all
and you
on
like
it.
to communicate. When you would
Correct.
go
I'm
to,
a verbal communicator.
when you would go to dinner with Ronald Reagan, you had dinner with him, right?
Yes.
What do you sit and talk to him about when he was the sitting president? He was
just had left office.
Oh, he just left office. You're very comfortable going to a celebrity's home,
Yes.
and kind of hanging out.
Because I know the secret, which is...
What is the secret?
Talk about them.
Pants one leg at a time. No, not talk about them.
Right.
Talk about things, include them, and you'll find the reason Bill Clinton is the world's best, dinner conversationalist is he's as interested in you as you are in him.
So is the secret to hanging out with a celebrity, especially someone as big as the President of the United States, it's just that you don't get intimidated, you think of them as a regular person.
Correct.
And then the third rule of thumb would be Be interested.
That's right. And be curious. Well, you're sitting with a president, and you say things like, I would say things like, well, what's it like to send people to war? What is that like?
And they answer
and then
you
they get in the conversation. Oh, yeah, I was doing this. They tell you little stories.
But are you really interested, or are you just?
Oh, aren't you interested?
Yeah, I'm interested. But still, it seems like you're working when you're. It doesn't seem relaxing.
It's not work to me.
It isn't.
No, my life is who, what, where, when, why.
Right.
That's my life. When I was 9 years old, I'd get on a bus. I'd ask the bus driver, "Why do you want to drive a bus?
Really?
You don't want to sit next to me on an airplane."
Is that really true? You would sit there, and that was your whole life.
Yeah, I was on with Barbara Walters yesterday on The View.
Did you date her? Ever?
No, too old.
Too old for you. By the way, I had Katie Couric on here the other day. Yeah. She talked about, she went on a date
Talked
with you.
about your date.
Story, and she told the wrong story.
She did, because I want to know why you didn't close the deal with her. She says she did not give you sex.
She did not give me sex. We necked. But she said she had a roommate. The roommate was my executive producer, Wendy. Wendy, then covering for her, denies this. I know what happened. I know what happened. We went out on a... Nothing went wrong. We went on a date. I thought something was going to happen. We get up to her door, and she says, I have a roommate. That's the last I saw. So where was I? What was the story I was going to tell you?
And you gave up on Katie Couric? That was it?
Yes, I did. Hey, come and go.
That's it. Is that the style?
I don't chase.
You don't?
You're like a salesman. It's numbers, right?
I don't chase.
I still wonder why, you know, I think because you're from an older generation, you were always the type of guy, you'd get married.
Rather than live with someone. Or
rather than live with someone. You felt living with someone was sort of wrong.
I never spent the night at a girl's house. I always had to go home.
Why? Because you felt it was disrespectful?
I was raised in a culture. No one I knew got divorced. Right. Jews in Brooklyn, no one got divorced.
Never.
Now I moved down to Miami where everyone got divorced.
Yeah.
And I realized something. It was true to be that what I liked at 30 is not what I liked at 40.
Right.
And I'm always amazed at people who are married 50, 60 years of all the compromise they had to make.
Right.
Now, it took a while. I met Sean, and that's been now 17 years. That's my longest. And that lasted because younger children came along. I was a better father with these children.
You were more mature.
And I was more successful.
Right.
You know, life bettered in. I have a nice home in Beverly Hills. Life's been good to me, and I've been successful. And
but when you were in a period in your life where you were getting hammered in the tabloids and all that stuff, was that driving you nuts? I mean, it's hard to stay married. It didn't. It didn't.
It's hard to stay married, but we worked that out. But I discovered something about it.
How do you work that out?
Because I discovered about the tabloids.
Yeah.
They are meaningless the day after, unless they get on a case. If they get like John Edwards, they got on his case, and they had him dead to rights.
Yeah, but you look at Anthony Weiner. Now here's a guy you think he was ruined, texting with the penis, the whole thing. They just did the latest poll today in the paper. He's ahead of everybody. If he should run for mayor today.
What's the truest thing? There is a second act in America.
Always.
The only thing you can never come back from, I think, is if you were a predator, little boys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Murder even you can come back from?
Hey, I bet you OJ's going to come back at his own show. I'm telling you.
I tell you, you know how OJ could have beat the whole... in America, here's all OJ had to do. Biggest mistake if he had good advice. Let's say you're at the scene, you kill the wife, and you kill the kid.
Right.
You stop right there.
Right.
Drop your gun, fall down on your knees, and say, "Oh my God, oh my God!" And come on, what happened, OJ? Oh my. Oh my God. I went to this recital today, and my wife, she wouldn't let me see my daughter. I couldn't see my daughter. And I was crazed. I was just nuts. And I went to her house, and here she's in a negligee, and this young waiter is coming to see her. And I don't know what to do, and I got to go to Chicago. So I just lost it.
You think that weren't you amazing?
That doesn't work.
Hold on. No.
Larry, you're crazy.
You're not done. Okay.
Hold it. I'm not done.
And Sean, if you're listening, you better be careful.
No.
Larry's got it all figured out.
He's worked it out.
That's right.
All right. He's not done. He's arrested.
Right.
He goes into court a totally beaten man.
Right.
I'm guilty. I don't want a trial.
Right.
I'm guilty. Please put me away. Please. I don't put your head up. Never smile. Look your head down.
Right. You're completely depressed.
Your lawyer makes a valiant statement about rage and how you lost it, and they give you, under circumstances, they give you an examination. And you go to prison.
7 years.
7 years.
Right.
Okay. You come out after 7 years. You are now the #1 expert on rage.
Right.
You made a study of rage while in prison. Guaranteed you have the O.J. Simpson Rage Hour.
That's right.
You deal with people, you help them with rage.
Because you're claiming there's always a second act.
You're as big as ever. And you replace
But
Larry King
O.J. didn't even go to jail for this, Larry.
Well, who would have predicted
He did beat it.
But who would have predicted
He did beat it, yeah.
Were you shocked when O.J. beat it? I mean, you were on the air for that.
I was on the air
And
for
you
that.
did
That's
the
how I moved to
play-by-play.
L.A.
You kind of did the play-by-play of the chase, too.
I was on the air in Washington.
Right.
I was interviewing Cindy Garvey, who was talking about O.J.'s wife, and then suddenly they cut in as a car chase. I didn't know L.A. at that time. They gave me a map.
Right.
And I was broadcasting for 3 hours right through that whole car ride. I knew O.J. pretty well.
I know. And would you ever have believed that O.J. was going to get off on that? That trial
Remember, they
was...
thought he was going to kill himself in the car.
Right, in that car.
Right.
That was momentous television, man. The world was watching that drive.
Is that the kind of thing you think is the highlight of your career? You know what I think the highlight of your career is? I'm trying to pick out a moment for
I'll
you.
give you my
What is
own,
your super highlight?
The parole Gore debate.
That's what I was going to say.
That was the biggest audience in cable
When
history.
I used to watch your show and Ross Perot would be on, and he would sound so reasonable, and the way you interviewed him was, "Hey, Ross Perot, you're a smart businessman. Give me some down-home advice." He seemed so sensible, and before you knew it, we all felt Ross Perot really should be president.
He said some of the smartest things. I remember when they were talking the other day about something Ross said. He said, segregation, treatment of blacks less than whites, is economically idiotic. So forget the moral aspect. Put that aside. Right. You're in the South. You build buildings, school buildings, office buildings. You got to build 2 bathrooms instead of one man.
One man.
You got to build 2 water
colored and white. Are you
2 water fountains?
Right, yeah.
Right? So it's costing you more plumbing. And then we'll do a smart thing. He said. Then let's not give them a good education. Right. So then they'll never buy a Buick.
It's dumb.
So
he would explain everything to the economy, and he sounded brilliant.
Intellectually dumb.
And he was like a Harry Truman. He was very down home and this and that. And before you know it, then you're hosting the debate.
Yeah, and I am hosting the debate over NAFTA, and then I hosted the best debate. The wildest was when Bush debated McCain. They hated each other.
Yeah.
They hated each other.
So I agree with you. That is the highlight of your career, the Ross Perot candidacy.
And then the second would be 9/11.
Right.
And going down there and broadcasting 73 straight days. You were here in 9/11,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I was on the air.
All right. And I came to, we were on for 73 straight nights. I went down to Ground Zero 2 weeks later, Fire Commission. I went to the Burns Center. I always would think, I thought about you in this regard.
Yeah.
What does a broadcaster who depends so much on humor do with that? And I would imagine you became a professional broadcaster.
Yeah, people...
there were no jokes, were there?
No jokes. I was on the air.
There wasn't anything funny about that.
No. And in fact, David Letterman called me. He said, I want to hear your broadcast, because I stayed on the air for like 9 hours or some crazy amount of time. And everyone said, well, you better get out of there. I go, where am I going to go? I'm not going to go somewhere. Some of my staff decided to leave. Some people stayed. But we stayed on the air. And no, now we became a conduit for people who were in their cars, essentially, to hear what was going on with 9/11. And I think we did a very reasonable broadcast. All of my fans were calling in with eyewitness accounts of what was going on, and it was tough radio. It was just awful. As it was hitting me, as this thing was going on, I was like, oh my God, this is really happening.
That's when you're a professional, because you're down and you're depressed.
You're in shock.
It's your city. You're in shock, but you got to be a pro. The mic's on.
Yeah.
You can't do, oh my God.
Yeah, right. You can't get too freaked out. What did so getting back to Ross Perot for a second, did you vote for Ross Perot?
I did.
You did? Because did you say to yourself in a self-serving kind of way, if Ross Perot gets into office, I mean, I'm the guy who got him into office. I'm probably the second most powerful man in the world. Was it that you were just so blown out?
I like Clinton. Right. And I certainly like Bush the First, who's one of the great guys in the world, Bush 41.
Right.
And you had to like Clinton. You can't dislike Clinton.
I think he was one of the best presidents we've ever had. I think he should still be the president.
You're not kidding. I was attached at the hip to Perot, though.
Right.
We were like buddies, and I got to like him so much as a person. And I knew things about him that the public didn't know, like his, if you were a veteran, he hired you.
Right.
If you served in the armed forces, he was a real American.
Right.
And he was a little ahead of his time in areas, but then he lost it.
Why did he screw up? He got crazy, right?
Yeah, he lost it. He had bad advice, and he never should have listened to it.
He started opening his mouth in areas probably he didn't know too much about.
He would talk to NAACP, and he used the term which they regret is "you people."
Yeah. Oh.
You people can do better if you people.
Yeah.
No one likes to be you people.
No.
Picture a bunch of Jews standing around being told you people.
Yeah, well, go fuck you. We're not voting for you. That's the end of that.
How do you like having a show where you could say that word?
I love it, and I'll tell you why.
See that word? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I say the word off the air,
right,
of course.
Right.
Everyone says the word. As Lenny Bruce, who was my dear friend, used to say to me, it's the best word ever.
When Lenny Bruce, when you were broadcasting in Miami, you knew Lenny Bruce.
Very well.
Your career was similar. You got fired from almost every radio job, right?
One big one I got fired from.
Why did you get fired?
The station went all black. It became urban.
So it wasn't anything
you couldn't fit in?
No.
You couldn't be on an all black...
Hello there. But Lenny
Bruce...
Lenny taught me... Lenny is a precursor to you.
Right.
But Lenny was a genius, a true genius. He had an IQ of like 182.
Wow.
He was a heavy risk taker, and he loved it.
Did you know he was an addict?
I know. Well, you know how he became an addict. He really sad. Lenny had a virus, a terrible virus, and it was very painful. And they moved him to Mount Sinai Hospital in Miami Beach, and they gave him morphine.
And he liked it.
He got hooked on morphine. And then heroin and all the rest, and he liked it.
And no one could approach, like, you were a close friend of his.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go to him and say, hey, man, they didn't do anything like an intervention back then. You probably didn't even know he was on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, did anybody really understand addiction?
Well, no,
then?
and then at the end, his act got all talking about his legal cases.
Right.
Yeah. But I tell you how Lenny thought. You would have appreciated this. I'm doing a show in Pumpernickel's Restaurant in Miami Beach. I was 23 years old. And Don Rickles was the guest. And Don and I go back a long way. And in comes Lenny.
You were 23 and you're doing a show with Don Rickles.
Yeah. And Don was
Was he known at that point?
Local clubs.
Okay.
He was known in Miami.
Yeah.
And in walks Lenny. This was an audience in the morning. In a prison uniform. And I said to him, where'd you get the prison uniform? I got a friend in Rayford, the state prison. He smuggled me out a prison uniform. I like to wear it. And it had a number on it and everything. And I said, well, what do you do with it? He said, you know what I like to do? I like to go up to cops and ask directions. And then I like, the cop looks at me like, is this an escaped prisoner asking for directions? And then the cop has to say, no. Why would an escaped prisoner
to be insane.
ask me directions? Then the cop would say, but wait a minute. How about a brilliant escaped prisoner who would think that the cop would think I'm not an escaped prisoner when I really want directions? And Rickles said, Lenny, get a job.
Oh, my God, that's so funny. That's great. Just reduce him to that. Did you go to Don Rickles' tribute?
No, I was not invited.
You were not invited? I'm surprised.
Yeah, I came in, I was in town, and I love Don, and Don...
What a genius he is, right?
He is.
If you want to learn how to be a great guest on a talk show, you watch Don Rickles.
Correct. He knows what he knows. I've had so many funny instances with him. I've been in audiences with him. I've been, for example, years ago in Miami Beach. I've got very friendly with Sidney Poitier, but I didn't know him then.
Right.
And I ran in late. I got off the air and I ran in late to see Rickles at the Eden Rock. And I sat down. I took my late mother with me, and she sat with me. And Poitier came in late.
Right.
He was doing a movie, and they sat him right next to us.
Right.
So now we're sitting, me, Poitier, and I was well known in Miami.
Right.
And Rickles walks on stage. He looks down and he says, Larry, you'll hang around with anything.
So damn quick.
Oh, and then he said, hey, Sidney, you're not going to enjoy it here. There's no chicken. There's no watermelon. And then he'll turn around
and
to the
by
band.
the way, you never said anything like that back then. I mean, that was insane. And he got away with it somehow.
He got away with it because he was loving. You know, you knew that he was really a sweet guy. I mean,
you knew he wasn't a racist at heart.
Oh, no, never. He never cursed on stage. Never cursed. Never used bad language.
No, because I went to dinner with him recently, and I said to him, how did you get away with going like to Sidney Poitier and doing some kind of racial humor? He says, no one ever thought I was evil or bad. They knew I was good at heart.
He never was evil. Well, let's all Americans. Like, we do those.
Yeah, but I don't even think he understands how he got away
Everybody
with it.
stand up and let's praise each other. Let's, an example, we have some Arabs in the audience. Would you stand up? Stand up. Look at these. They're ordinary gentlemen. They're every day. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Get a machine gun, mow them down. But he could just be Don is... He did a movie called... with Clint Eastwood in Yugoslavia, Young Warriors or something, a war movie.
Yeah.
And I get a letter from him. Dear Larry, you know how boring Yugoslavia is if I'm writing to you.
So great.
How dull it must be. He said, I don't want to say the country is poor. We were going to go out tonight, but Tito had the car.
Like, he could just be funny in a letter.
Oh, he's never not funny. The only person...
Was Jackie Gleason funny off No, he was a serious guy.
Gleason was a comedic actor.
Right.
He wasn't
not a comedian.
Not tell jokes. He thought funny.
Right.
You know, he thought things funny, but he was not a comedian.
Was he out of control?
No, never. And we drank a lot.
Right. But women, though? Tons of women, right?
A lot of women, but a good guy. Golf was his passion.
Right.
But he was a genius. But the true, most brilliant person of all is Mel Brooks. There's no one in Mel's league because Mel has enormous intellect and is incredibly funny. And at any minute, at any moment, you know, his son Max wrote World War Z.
I know.
Yeah.
But Mel could be, I'll give you a quick Mel story. The World's Fair in New York, 1964. They had a World's Fair here. There's still replicas of it on the Parkway.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
So I come up to do my radio show at the World's Fair, and Mel Brooks is my guest. And I said, do you want to